Okay. Wow, Ololade from Lagos, project management from Ghana, from Costa Rica, Lagos. I say a lot of Lagos, Akure, UK, Ibadan, Nairobi. Wow, we have a lot of people from across the world right here today. It's good to have you on the call today. And let me tell you something. There is tech for everybody, all right? There is tech for everybody, wherever you're joining us from. It's the same thing everywhere. There is tech for everybody, and it's the same everywhere. All right. So from wherever you're joining us from, welcome. And that's the beauty of tech. You can have everybody on the same call at the same time. And that's, super, super amazing. So once again, thank you so much for taking our time today on a Sunday to join us on this session. And I just gave a brief overview of Tenalytics and what we do. And I told you that Tenalytics has only one burning desire, which is to get people started in tech. All right. So if you're joining one more exercise, guys. So if you're joining, any of Tenalytics tech series for the first time, right? I would like you to just put a quick yes in the comment section. If you're joining Tenalytics, any of Tenalytics masterclasses for the first time, just quickly put a yes in the comment section. Amazing. It's good to see you here. Amazing. Great. It's good to have every single person here. Welcome once again. All right, so I'm just going to move on in my slide, and I'm going to tell you the brains behind Tenalytics, the people who first had the first burning desire to get, more people to get into tech. So I have my founder, amazing, brilliant founder, Adeza Suleiman, who is the founder of Tenalytics. He's a data analytics expert, he's a data analyst, business performance at Ara Group. He's a data analytics consultant. He has close to a decade experience in data analytics, management consulting. He has worked in sports, he has worked in financial services, edtech, energy, and automobile sectors. Guys, you're not dealing with novices here, right? You're dealing with experienced people, seasoned, experienced professionals who have worked across industries. All right, they're coming to do only one thing for you, right? To help you get started in tech. And he has trained over 8,500 participants. Okay, so these are people who, woke up to say, you know what, we need to get more Black people to get into tech. Also, we have our fantastic co-founder in the person of Efemina Ipro. Efemina Ipro is the co-founder of Tenalytics. He's been the business data support lead at Post Office UK, global business systems analyst at Teleflex Ireland, business intelligence developer at DPD Ireland. He also has close to a decade experience, across multiple sectors, and he has, a degree in data analysis. So guys, these are our founders, and this is our founder and our co-founder, who saw the vision of Tenalytics and decided to get started with that. Right. So you can connect with them on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, just connect with them. They're always dropping nuggets on how to get started in tech. All right. And here you have me. Okoyemi Odeognola. I am the growth product manager at Tenalytics. I have over 5 years experience in growth, sales, and marketing. I've helped over 3,000 people get started in tech. And, more importantly, I'm very passionate about getting as many women as possible, get into tech. And, every day I wake up with one single burning desire, which is to get so many people, especially women, to break those glass ceilings and get started in tech. And then on the side, I am currently running my PhD program in the University of Lagos. Okay, and that doesn't even matter at all because, whatever you studied in school does not matter. And that's one of the things we're going to be discussing today. And so I'm going to move on quickly to our achievements in Tenalytics. So Tenalytics is not just one company that came out of thin air and then we're just coming to tell you, oh, we have done this, we are doing this, we are doing this. But we actually have factual records that you can fact check, all right? And, we can boldly say that we have helped over 300 people transition from the classroom to land their first jobs in tech, all right? They're going from classroom, from what they learned in class, to get their first jobs in tech in the UK, in the US, in Canada, in Europe, and in the Middle East. All right, and we've been doing this for quite a while right now. We've been in the news as well. We've been in Business Day, helping Africans land tech jobs across 4 continents. We even did a data hackathon last year, and we also did another one this year as well, right? And we had 1 million naira up for grabs. Also, we've been in Punch as well. Don't worry, I'm going to be sharing the slides with you later. If you wait till the end of the session, I'm going to be sharing the slides with you. I'm going to be sharing the recording of this session with you as well. All right. So, I mentioned earlier that I have one burning desire, which is to get as many women as possible to get started in tech. And let me tell you, in March, it was the International Women's Month, and we decided to say, you know what, we're going to help 300 women get access to learn premium tech skills. And we did it, and we even gave access to over 300 women who benefited from this scholarship program. All right, so we're on Tech About when Punch, spreading the good news of tech, right? And like I mentioned earlier, last year we had data hackathon and was also featured in Business Day. Okay. And over again, like I've been saying on this call, we keep on reiterating our commitment to help Africans get tech jobs in Europe over and over again, and we have a track record for you to verify. All right, so as I move on into the activities lined up for you for today, remember I said, get your notepad, get your pen, because you're going to be jotting things down. All right, we're going to be jotting a lot of things down. I have my founder and co-founder on the call with me today. If you can see the handsome man wearing glasses and the other one putting on, a headset like mine, that's my founder and co-founder on the call with us today, and they're going to be, sharing information with us on how to get started in tech. So one last thing I'm going to do before I hand over to my co-founder is this. So I find a lot of people, finding it difficult to pronounce this word, Analytics. Guys, it is Analytics. It is not Analytics. It is not 10Analytics. Basically 10Analytics. All right. So guys, make sure you pronounce it well. At the end of this session, maybe we're going to do a test for like 5 people to pronounce the word very well. You never know what you can get easily just by pronouncing Analytics correctly. All right. So I'm just going to be handing over to Ifemina, my co-founder. Hi, Ife, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly. I can hear you perfectly. Good evening, everyone. I'm absolutely excited to be here today. Thanks a lot, me for that absolutely remarkable presentation and introduction also. So I'm excited to be here, and I'm sure you guys are excited also. We have an amazing lineup for you today. Myself and Adeza will be walking you through so many wonderful information around, the tech, tech opportunities essentially. So if you are currently wondering, okay, what should I get started in? What career path should I do? What are the opportunities in tech? Why is everyone talking about tech essentially? We're going to be showing you the reasons why everyone is talking about tech. Okay. So I'm going to come after. Okay. Adeza is going to be the one to start first. Then I'll come also after to come and to tell you about the remote opportunities that we have in tech. So if you're currently working in Nigeria, or you're a professional in Nigeria or anywhere across the world, and you're looking to work remotely, all right, you want to work freelance, you want to have your time to yourself. I'm going to be showing you places you can apply for remote roles, the kind of tech job that you can actually get, okay, working remotely. So you don't need to leave your house. You can just work from the convenience of your room, of your house itself, okay? And that's what I've been doing for the past almost over about 3 years now, okay? I've not been to any office I've worked in. So, and those are the opportunities I'm going to be sharing with you, okay? So, Adeza, so you can come in and, bamboozle them with your side of
All right.
All
All
right.
right. Thank you very much, Efe. And thank you, Okwe, for that fantastic introduction. I love the fact that Okwe said everybody should get their notepads, get their pens, and would have, a fantastic learning session today. So today's session is all about learning and the practical bits of searching for jobs. Okay. So I'll walk you through, and I'll focus on a specific region because in the last few weeks, There's been a lot of buzz around the UK. As a student, you can't bring in your dependents starting from January 2024. And people are a bit worried and panicked. What do I do next? Okay, so what's the next step for me? And, for us at Analytics, we've always said that the goal is for you to transition from your current, if you're a student, for example, doing your master's, the goal is to transition from that, your student visa, into a sponsored visa. Okay, so you want a visa where you are sponsored, your job sponsors you, you can stay back in the country. And even if you are in Nigeria as well, you can apply to these jobs that have the requirements to give you sponsorship and bring you into the country. Okay, so I'll walk you through these opportunities because, like we always tell people, the opportunities are immense. And the demand as at today currently outweighs the availability of talent to take up those roles. And our mission, just like Opeyemi said at the beginning, our mission is to ensure that we get as many Africans, as many people of the Black community into tech to get those jobs that are available and take the best opportunities. And if Emena will come back later to walk us through remote opportunities. So how can you apply to remote jobs? We've helped so many people get jobs remotely, all right? And it's just simply understanding the right information, understanding the right steps and the processes to follow to eventually getting the jobs, okay? So we'll walk end to end from the start and how to eventually get those jobs irrespective of where you are, okay? So you're in the UK, for example, you're a master's student, you are planning to come to the UK for your master's, you are in the right place today, all right? So I'll walk you through some of these concepts and I'll quickly share my slide and dive into the main meat of our session for today, all right? So Opey has introduced me already, so I don't think I need to introduce myself anymore. And what I'll be walking you through today is simply all the things I've said, how to apply to those jobs practically and get them. Okay, what do you need? What are the skills you need to take note of? Number one, how do you even access those jobs? Where do you look for them? How do you apply? What are the requirements to getting a sponsored job? Okay, so I'll walk you through all those areas. And like Opey said, get a pen, get a notepad, make down jottings, take notes, so that at the end of today's session, you can take advantage of some of the information we'll be sharing here today. Once more, my name is Adeza Suleiman, the founder of Tenalytics, and I'm super excited to have you all on the call. Okay, so let's get started. Now, my session would revolve around these 4 areas. Okay, first of all, how to identify the in-demand jobs, jobs that are in demand, jobs that are high in demand, that you can apply to those jobs, get those jobs, and also, easily transition into a tier 2 visa, which is a sponsored visa, right? And for those in Canada, for those in the US, we're probably going to have another session specifically for you and show you how to access some of those opportunities that are available as well. Okay, so first of all, we're going to look at those in-demand jobs. Secondly, we'll dive into how to search and land those jobs. Okay, how to search for the jobs and land the jobs itself. And number 3, how to position yourself. Okay, so it's one thing to have the jobs available, you know how to apply, you know how to search. It's another thing for you to position yourself and have the skills to actually get the jobs. Okay, so I'll talk about that as well. And last but not the least, we'll also talk about some of our programs that can also help you take advantage easily of those type of jobs that are available. Okay. All right, so let's dive into it. So first of all, what are the skills or the jobs that are very high in demand? Okay, these jobs and the skills that are very high in demand. And of course, we don't need to go too far to start to identifying these type of jobs. First of all, they exist within the tech ecosystem. Okay, so if you're a tech bro, you're a tech sis, you can rest assured that your skills would definitely get you a job at the shortest period possible. And if you are not in tech, then this is the best time to get into tech. Okay, And it's a lot more difficult if you don't have the right guidance, you don't know how to start, you don't know what to do. It becomes difficult for you to get a job in that regard. Okay. And that's why you are in this session today. You get to learn a lot of things around how to get started and what you need to focus on. Okay. So how do you identify skills that are in demand? You need to ask yourself one question before you dive into anything. And that question is very simple. The question is, can I get a sponsored job? Like I said, I'm going to focus on the UK for today. And then, in subsequent sessions, we'll focus on Canada, focus on the US, and so on and so forth. Okay. So you ask yourself the question, can I get a job? And not just any job, a sponsored job, because you don't want to come to the country, you do your master's, you spend a year doing your master's or 2 years. And at the end of the day, you realize that all the things I've studied, they're really not, applicable in the real world environment. And most of you studying your master's, you'd easily find out that that's the reality. So you wrap up your master's, you've learned all the theories in the university, and then you come out of the university and you really can't apply those skills. You really can't put those skills to use to get a job at the end of your master's program. So you have to ask yourself that first question, can I get a sponsored job in the UK? And in answering the question, you need to identify, what does sponsorship entail? If I'm going to get a sponsored job, a job that will sponsor my visa, I get a job offer, and then I can get sponsorship where I can transition from my tier 4 student visa to a tier 2 visa. What does it require? What does it entail? How can I, navigate that space? And to navigate it is very simple. For you to get sponsored, for you to transition from a tier 4 to a tier 2 visa, you need to have, it's a point-based system, and you need to have 70 points. You can have above 70 points, but you need to have at least 70 points. Okay? And the jobs are not just for master's students, for anybody. If you are a dependent, your wife is doing masters, but you are a dependent, or you are in Nigeria, you want to apply to a job that could sponsor you, you are in the right place. Okay? So you can get 70 points. With 70 points, you can get a sponsored job. So now that you know that you can get 70 points, what constitutes the 70 points? That's the next question. And if you look at the right-hand side of my slide, that's what constitutes the 70 points. You can get some points that are mandatory, and there are some that are tradable, meaning that they are optional. All right. For example, for you to get one of the mandatory, criteria you have to meet is your employer must have the license to sponsor you. That's mandatory. Okay, so if you get a job and the employer does not have a license to sponsor, then you don't fall, within the category of getting sponsored. So your employer must have a license to sponsor. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, the job must reach a particular skill level, usually a high-skilled job like a data analyst role, a business analyst role, and not a low-level job. So you must reach a particular skill level, and I'll be showing you the details of the specific skills you need to meet. And we'll look at jobs available within the space practically, how you can search for those jobs and how you can apply to them. Okay. Again, you need to meet the specific English language requirements. All right. You need to meet the English language requirements. So these are the 3 mandatory criteria that you have to meet. And if you're able to meet these 3, you have 50 points. Okay. And I'll break it down as I move along. So just follow me, walk with me, and you'll understand clearly what these 70 points entail and how you can easily get these 70 points to get a sponsored job, either wherever you are. If you're in Nigeria, you want to come to the UK through a sponsored visa, you are in the UK, you are independent, you want to get a job that would sponsor you, or you are a student, a master's student about to wrap up, and you're looking for ways to transition to get a sponsored visa. All right. So the employer must have the license to sponsor. That's number one. Number two, it must be a highly skilled job, which means it's a specialized job like a data analyst, a business analyst, a data engineer, a data scientist, and so on and so forth, right? Number three, you must meet the specified English language requirements, okay? So if you've not written IELTS, okay, you would have to write the exam. And if you are a master's student, so let's take, for example, you've done your master's, the singular fact that you've done your master's, automatically you would qualify for the English language requirement. You don't need to write IELTS, okay? But if you are a dependent, for example, and you haven't provided English language requirements to get your dependent visa, then you'd need to write the English language requirements, okay? Now, I've kept all the links that you need on the slide so that you can all look at the different, criteria yourselves, and, you get a lot more clarity if you want to. So for example, you have this link over here, okay? And when you get the slide, if you click on the link, it takes you to this particular, page where you'd see that you need a total of 70 points to get a job that will sponsor you to work in the UK, all right? Now that you know that you need an employer that has a license to sponsor, that's a mandatory criteria. The job has to be highly skilled. That's another mandatory criteria. So you start to ask yourself the question, how can I identify these employers? Where do I find them? How do I identify them? And how do I apply to job vacancies available from those type of companies so I can get a sponsored job at the end of the day? Now, all the other, tradable or optional criteria includes your salary level. So if you get a job, for example, that pays you between 23,000 to 25,000 pounds, you get additional 10 points. If the salary is between 25,600 and above, you get additional 20 points. So the higher your salary, the higher the number of points you get, okay? So you want to ensure that you acquire the skills that will enable you to apply to jobs that will pay you very well, because salary is absolutely important. And I'll tell you for a fact that 25,600 is actually very low when it comes to certain type of skills you can learn and get. So the level of 25,600 is something you would easily meet with specified type of skills, which I'll be sharing with you. You can learn those skills within the space of 3 months, and then you can start to apply to jobs like this that will sponsor you, okay? So now that you've seen this criteria, you know that I need to get an employer that will sponsor. I need to ensure that the job is on the shortage occupation list. If the job is on the shortage occupation list, you get additional 20 points. Okay, and what's the shortage occupation list? It's a list of jobs that are very low in supply in the country. And if you have the skills to fit into those jobs, you definitely, get additional 20 points that would help you towards your sponsorship in the UK. All right. So I'll show you how to easily meet the shortage occupation list, get a job within the shortage occupation list, how to find employers that will sponsor you, that have the license to sponsor, and how to meet all the criteria to get above 70 points to get sponsorship in the UK, all right? So let's move to the next slide. And the next slide simply has the list of the shortage occupation, and you also have the employers that have the sponsorship certificates, okay? So number one, you have the list of jobs that falls within the shortage occupation, okay? So these are jobs whereby they are very high in demand. If you have the skills, you get a job within the job markets in a very short period of time, as long as you have the skills, okay? And then you also have the employers that have the license to sponsor you, okay? And let's look at the list together one by one. So like I said, it's going to be a very practical session where we'll try to look through some of these things practically, and then I'll show you how to apply to them. So please, you don't need to turn on your video so we don't distract people that are trying to pay attention. All right, so if you have your video on, please, just put it off so that we don't distract people. All right, it's a salary month. It can be monthly at Deolu, £25,000 monthly, £25,000 monthly. I'm not sure the Prime Minister earns that kind of money. The Prime Minister of the UK earns £25,000 per month. Of course, it's annually, okay? All right, so let's look at the skills shortage list, which is the shortage occupation list, all right? Let's click on the link and let's see what it looks like, all right? Let's see the type of jobs that are on the shortage occupation list. So you're not just going about learning everything. You're not going about looking for, acquiring skills that would not help you in any way at the end of the day. And I've found so many people, they come to me, oh, I've done this, I've done that, and they've wasted money, they've wasted time, wasted resources, and we have to guide them to the right, track to say, look, these are the areas you need to look at with proper structure on what you need to do to help you get there, okay? And we're looking at the list now, and I'll walk you through the list. And like I said, the links are on the slide. Once you get the slide, take out time to also go through the slide, go through the links, and do a little bit of research yourself to get clarity on some things you might not be very clear about. But I want our session to be interactive. So please feel free to ask questions as soon as it occurs to you, okay? So this is the shortage occupation list, all right? It's on the gov.uk website, but I have the list, I have the link on the slide, like I said. Now, if you scroll down, you'd see some codes, occupation codes, you see the job types, the areas where there is shortage, where they don't have enough of those jobs, and then the annual salary, the average annual salary, obviously, and so on, okay? So of course, 1181, you see a lot of health services, public health manager, and directors. So you see a lot of healthcare related jobs, all right? 1242, residential, day and domiciliary care managers and proprietors. And of course, you'd see a lot of people who would want to go into care, want to move into care simply because there are sponsorship opportunities. And this is simply the reason why you'd see a lot of that, okay? And you can see the salary is about £11.61 per hour, and so on and so forth, okay? So as we move down, you see the chemical scientists, the biological scientists and biochemists, the physical scientists, okay? So you have the geophysicists, the geoscientists, but let's just move down. I'm going specifically to a particular code. So you see the civil engineers, the mechanical engineers, electrical engineers, electronic engineers, and so on and so forth. Now, as we move to the code 2135, 2136, I want you to put that code at the back of your mind, 2135 and 2136, okay? Now, if I want to learn to become, since I'm looking at the job, the shortage occupation list, and I've seen that engineering is very, very important, okay? As an engineer, chemical engineer, electronic engineer, electrical engineer, civil engineer, mechanical engineer, I can get a sponsored job. Then I decide to go and study engineering. I'll spend the next 4 to 5 years and spend a whole lot of money to learn engineering, to become an engineer, to get a sponsored job, okay? Which I would say really makes no sense. Except you're an engineer already, then it makes sense for you to start to look for opportunities within that space. However, the job role, the codes with the 2135 and 2136 are amazing. And I'll tell you the reason why. So 2135 are for IT business analysts, architects, and system designers. 2136, programmers and software development professionals. Okay, now these two codes, 2135 and 2136, your business analyst, your data analyst, your data scientist, your data engineers, your financial analytics professionals, your Power Platform engineers, your HR analytics professionals, and so many other roles within this realm all fall within these two codes, 2135 and 2136. Now, why did I say it's amazing? Unlike going back to the university to study engineering for 4 years, 5 years, depending on the specific, engineering area of engineering I would love to study, I can learn to become a business analyst within the space of 3 months. I can learn to become a data analyst within the space of 3 months. I can learn to become a data engineer within the space of 4 months. All right. So I want to look for jobs or for skills that I can learn within a very short period of time and start to extract value from those jobs. Okay. I learn a skill within a very short period of time, and I start to extract value immediately by getting a job, and not just any job, a sponsored job, a job that falls within the shortage occupation list. So if you're a tech bro, you're a tech sis, or you are not, and you want to dive into tech, the code 2135 and 2136 are very, very important to you. All right. And just like you have the shortage occupation list, you also have the employers that have the license to sponsor you. Because remember, for you to apply for a sponsorship for a tier 2 visa, you need a couple of you need to meet a couple of criteria, which I shared in the previous slide. Okay, the mandatory criteria: you must get an offer from a company that has the license to sponsor. Okay, the job must be a skilled job, just like the code 2135 and 2136. I'm just going to maximize that a bit so we can see it clearly. And then you must meet the English language requirement. Okay, so these are the mandatory criteria. Other criteria fall within the salary you are being paid. If you are paid about 25,600 and above, you get additional 20 points. Because what gives you the visa at the end of the day would be the number of points you're able to accumulate along the line. All right. Now, if I click on the link that has the employers, okay, employers with certificates to sponsor, I'm just going to click on the link and let's see. Okay, so if I click on the link, it's, downloads an Excel file for me. The Excel file contains the list of employers. All right, it contains the list of employers with sponsorship license, and I'll simply show you. There are a lot of them, about 70,000 plus, over 70,000 employers. Their town, the county, and different locations. All right, so if you click on the link, you would have access to the employers that have certificates to sponsor. Okay, but now you'd agree with me that it's very tedious to start looking through each employer. So I'll go to, let's take, for example, let's scroll all the way down. I'll just go to a particular employer. So let's say 3Core Certifications Limited, and I'll go online to start searching for the job vacancies they have available. That's very tedious. Okay, so even though I know that this employer has certificates, has the license to sponsor, what do I need to do? There are websites that you can easily access these jobs. You can easily access the jobs available from these employers, and the jobs are also within the shortage occupation list. And these websites would show you the number of points you can get by applying to that job. So if you apply to this job, you get 60 out of 70 points. And you can see the area where you have a deficiency, and you can work on that to build your points to get 70. And if you apply to that job, you get the job, you can get a tier 2 visa. So the idea of, oh, I can't bring in my family, there is no one, pathway available. There are several pathways, and this is just one of several pathways. And I would say that these opportunities are there for the taking, and it all depends on those that would like to take advantage of the opportunities. And like I said, if you're in the UK, if you're out of the UK, you're in Nigeria, and you want to access and apply to these type of jobs, you can do that. Okay, where do you apply? Where do you search? Where do you check? how do you, identify these jobs and how do you apply? All right. I'll show you, and I have a couple of, websites where you can go to apply to these jobs. I kept a couple of them. And I mean, by the time you exhaust all these options, there are even too many for you to exhaust. I'm going to look at one together today, practically, which is called UK Hired. We'll look at these websites together, all right? And for those who would like to get a sponsored job, you want to become a data analyst, get a job right out of Nigeria, come to the UK, the company takes care of everything for you. Or you are currently in the UK, you are a student, you want to transition, you want to get a job as a data analyst, as a business analyst, as a data scientist. How can you access these jobs that would also sponsor you? How do you meet the 70 points that are required? How do I find employers that have the certificates to sponsor? How do I find jobs that would fall within the shortage occupation list? And how do I meet all the requirements available? All right. This website called UK Hired would give you all those available, requirements and criteria and show you jobs that you can easily check and see where you fall within the point system of 70 and how you can meet that point system of 70. Okay. So we'll look at two major categories of jobs: the data analyst and the business analyst. Okay, the data analyst and the business analyst. Now we'll look at these two roles, and of course there are so many other roles we'll talk about today. But going into UK Hired, checking out these jobs that are available, you look at the point system. I'll walk you through how it works. We'll look at the data analyst and the business analyst job roles. All right. Now let's get into it. And if you can also, go on your own browser and let's work together. I'll open up my browser. Let's work together. Let's go to the website together and let's see how to search for these jobs. Remember, one major critical aspect of getting the job is to have the skills, which is something I'll talk about, okay? So what we are looking at now is just simply how to search for these jobs so that you see yourself that these jobs are available for you. But having the skill to actually take advantage of those opportunities is a different conversation entirely. And that's why we exist as Tenalytics. That's how we've been able to help so many people. At the beginning, Okpe mentioned helping over 300 people transition last year, all right? You can't help anybody if you don't know what to do, okay? And again, they always say knowledge is power. So those that take advantage of these opportunities are the people that know that these opportunities exist and they know where to find them and how to access, all right? So all you need to do is open your browser and just type in UK Hired. Okay, so you can search for it, ukhired.com/jobs. Okay, so I'm going to post the link in the chat for those who would love to work with me on this. I'll copy the link, I'll post it in the chat for anybody who would like to also check out the website. All right, so ukhired.com/jobs. And when we tell people that there are jobs are available unbelievably, they find it difficult to understand, how would you say this? Okay, how did you get your own job? You must be an expert. But I always tell people, you don't have to be an expert to get a job. You just need to have the right type of skills to get these jobs that are available, all right? So what I'm going to simply do is I'll search for the data analyst role. I'll search for the business analyst role. And I want you to also, do your own search and check as well, all right? So let's start with the data analyst. So where I have the job title, of course, you can see here, it says 265 jobs with visa sponsorship. And of course, ukhired.com, that's the focus. This particular website is one of so many. You saw the slide I have. I kept a couple of them: LinkedIn, Indeed, gov.uk, UK Hired. So UK Hired, all you need to do, I don't want all the 265 jobs with sponsorship. I want to search for data analyst. Let's search for that first of all right? So I type in data analyst and then I hit enter. Okay, or I just click on one of the options available. And let's just wait a bit. Yep. So it's going to come up with some, job roles available for data analysts that have sponsorship. And we'll look at them one by one. So let's look at the very first option. It says junior data and insights analyst, all right? The salary, it's in Chester, and the salary is £25,000. Not really much, I'd say it's very low. But let's check the job role and see the requirements. Let's see if it falls within all the criteria we need to get the 70 points. So I click on the job, and I hope you can see my screen clearly. I'm just going to maximize a bit so you can see, all right? So this job was posted yesterday on the 27th of May. So it's pretty new. So anybody who wants to apply to this job today can apply to the job. And it closes, the deadline is on the 9th of June. So sometime around next week or 2 weeks from now, 2 weeks from now, the job opening will be closed on the 9th of June. Okay. Again, the employer is Sky's Cottages. It's a full-time role. And before you click on apply, you want to check the requirements. You want to check if applying to this job would give you the 70 points that you need to apply for a visa sponsorship. All right. So let's look at it carefully. Okay. Let's look at the job requirement. First of all, what will you be doing? You'll be working with stakeholders in the commercial finance team, gathering key requirements, blah, 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 producing daily, weekly, and monthly ad hoc management reporting. You'll be identifying new ways of looking at the data or problems and presenting the approach and outputs. So that's pretty much, they didn't specify the tools you would need. And usually when the tools are not specified, you look at the basic data analytics skills that you need. Problem solving, Excel, Power BI, most of the time, when they don't specify, all right? But we'll check more roles and you'd see where the skills are actually specified, what you need to have. And don't forget, I'll talk about the skills you need to learn to become a data analyst, to come to this type of roles and apply to them and land the job, okay? So it's a point-based system. They have a calculator to help you calculate the points. Like I said, you need 70 points. So let's check. So what they are telling you here, you can see my screen, is simply you automatically score 50 out of 70 points with this job. Why do you score 50 out of 70 and not the full 70 points? So the job has the appropriate skill level. Okay, it's a skill job. So you get 20 points, right? The job offered is by a licensed sponsor. So you get another 20 points. That's 40. And then the salary does not fall, is not above 25,600. So that's why you get 10 points here instead of 20. So you have 50 points, okay? So why do you have 50 and not the total 70 points? The salary is less than 25,600, okay? So that's why you've lost 20 points from there, okay? Now, you would also see areas where you can select to get additional points, like the English language requirement. Okay, do you have the English language requirements? If you do, you have additional 10 points. All right. And if you are a student, you are a master's student currently on a Tier 4 visa, or you are a dependent applying to this job, all you need to do is, if you click on I am switching from a UK student or graduate visa, if you click on this option, you get additional 20 points. Additional 20 points. So you would meet the 70 points that you need to apply for the skilled worker visa. So automatically by applying to this job, you get 50 points. And you saw the reason why. It's a skilled job, number one. The employer has the license to sponsor, number two. And then the salary range is 23 £1,040. So you get 10 points for that. That's 50 points. Okay. Now, if you are switching from a student visa, so you're a current student, or you just completed your program, either an undergraduate or a master's or a PhD, whatever the case might be, you get additional 20 points. So you would meet the 70 points. 50 plus 20, you meet the 70 points. So what you get from ukhired.com is a clear, detailed, criteria-based system where it shows you clearly for this job role, if you apply, you get this number of points, and you can get additional points if you are moving from students to this and from this to that. Okay. Now, this is just one. Let's check for another job role very quickly because we have a lot to do today. So we don't want to take too much time on just one job. Okay. So this is, I would say, with a salary of 25,000, it's actually low. You might want to look for other jobs available. Let's look at the second one. And this is for 36,989. I would say it's a lot better than the first one in terms of salary. So let's click on it and see the requirements, okay? This was posted on the 23rd of May. That was sometime last week, all right? And the deadline for application is on the 6th of June, okay? But let's look at the job requirements, okay? Let's look at the job requirements. What do you need to get into this job role, all right? So you need to know how to interpret data from large and complex data sets. You need to know how to apply your skills. You need to know how to use software and data analysis and visualization tools like Excel, like Tableau, like SQL. You need to know basic SQL skills, apply SQL skills to work across the portfolio. You need to be pragmatic, have a pragmatic attitude, all right? Now, let's go to the point and see if applying to this job would give you the opportunity to get a sponsored job. Let's check. Now, you get 60 points by applying to this job. How do you get 60 points? The job is at the right skill level, so you get 20 points for that. The sponsor or the employer has a license to sponsor, you get 20 points for that. The salary is a minimum of 25,600. You get another 20 points for that. So that's 60 points already. So if I apply to this job, if you apply to this job, you get 60 points without anything additional. You don't need to do anything else. By applying to the job already, you get 60 points. So you need only 10 points to apply for a sponsorship visa. And the options you have the English language requirements. So if you've written IELTS #1, or if you are a student and you graduated, you're a master's student and so on, you also would have met this criteria. So if I click on this English language requirements, I have additional 10 points. So I'm going to get 70 points if I apply to this job currently based on your situation. So if you have the English language requirements, that gives you additional score to what? Apply to this job, okay? If you are also a student, if you are a student who is transitioning from being a student into getting a full-time role, you get another 20 points, and that gives you 80 points out of 70. So you've even gone above, and let's just quickly look at that, okay? Let's look at, okay, I think I clicked something. I'm just quickly going to go back to where we were and I'll show you. So again, it's very important that you need to know how to apply to this job. You need to know how to search. And this is just for data analysts. And I'm going to show you, for those who are students, you are doing your master's, you're not very sure what to do. I always tell them, look, the best time to start is now. One mistake people make is they take all their time doing what? Focusing on care jobs, focusing on working in the warehouse to pay their bills and so on. And before you realize what is going on, you're almost done with your master's. You are faced with the reality of applying for a post-study work visa, and you don't even know how to get a job because you don't have the skills that will set you apart in the job market, okay? So like I was saying earlier, if I'm switching from a UK student or graduate visa and I select this option, I get additional 20 points, and that gives me 80 points out of 70. So I've even gone above the requirement. The requirement is 70. If you're a student, you're a graduate, you get additional 20, and that gives you 80 points to apply to this job. Now, this is just for data analyst. I'll quickly do for the business analyst, and then we can move into other, parts of what we need to do today, because there are so many other things we want to also show you. All right. So let's search for business analyst. Business analyst, very quickly. Okay, business analyst. I would simply click on the very first one, technical business. And of course, you can see the salary right off the bat, 41,931. So you know that applying to this role, you definitely get the sponsored job. And of course, these are jobs with visa sponsorship, not just any job out there. So if I click on that, let's see quickly the requirements. It was posted yesterday, the 27th of May. The deadline to apply is on the 16th of June. So for those who would like to apply, you can go right ahead and apply. Okay. It's a 36-hour working week. Salary is 41,931, which is very good, not bad for somebody getting started. Okay. What are the requirements? There are a couple of things you need to do. You need to have experience as a business analyst, document data flows, gathering and interpreting and using data to generate requirements. You need to deliver projects and improve systems and processes, and so many things along those lines. You need to understand data dictionary, data warehouse, proficiency with Visio, with SQL. So how do you learn these skills? That's the next question. How do you learn these skills to apply to these jobs? Today, the question you would ask is, I don't have these skills, I cannot apply. So how do you learn to apply to these jobs? All right, but let's go to the points. And of course, applying to this job alone without any additional requirements, you get 80 points above the requirement of 70. Why? It's at the skill level, it falls within the skill level, you get 20. Employer is a sponsor, licensed sponsor, you get 20. Salary is above 25,600, you get 20. Job is on shortage occupation list and salary is over 80% of the going rate, you get another 20. So that's 80 points out of 70. So there is no doubt about it. If you apply to this role, do well in the interview, you get the job, you apply for your sponsorship, your tier 2 visa, and there is no denying you your tier 2 visa. All right. So let's now move into what are the skills required? And I'll do this within the next 30 minutes, okay? Now, we've just checked for the data analyst and for the business analyst. But what are the skills required to dive into this type of roles and apply? And I'd love to show you more, especially along the lines of the gov.uk. The gov.uk is another fantastic website where you can get so many other job opportunities. Okay, but we don't have time for that. We're not going to move into that now. Just quickly show you the gov.uk, which is this, gov.uk. So when you get the slide, please check the different websites you have on the screen, on the slide. Go there, check them out, and you'd see the amazing, amazing opportunities. We only checked UK Hired, only ukhire.com, and Google Jobs, UK Visa Jobs is another fantastic website, but here you'd have to pay subscription, but it's worth it, I'll tell you for a fact. You have Indeed, you have read.co.uk, where you'd find these sponsored jobs, okay? But now let's dive into how do you learn the skills to even become a data analyst, a business analyst, a HR analytics professional, a financial analytics professional, to apply to those jobs that you've seen. Because you can't go back to the university to learn engineering. You can't go back to the university to learn, all these things that will take over 4 years. Over 4 years for you to learn, all right? Now, bringing it all together, and saying, how do I position myself for success? I'm in Nigeria. I want to apply to a job outside the country that has the requirements to sponsor me. So if I get, through all the different recruitment stages, I can get the job and get a sponsorship, meaning that I'll come into the country sponsored, I get a tier 2 visa, I get into the country and I can settle down in the country without going through any other different routes, but through the skilled worker visa. And I've just showed you how to search. Go to ukhire.com, search for the data analyst role. You'd see the requirements, you see the points you get if you apply to the job, and go ahead and apply. But how do you position yourself? So first of all, you have to look for roles that are easy for you to learn. Easy for you to learn. Not any job, not any skill that you'd have to take 4 years, 5 years because of the difficulty in learning the concept. So easy to learn. Secondly, easy to transition, and also high and rewarding salaries. Because as you do these jobs, you want to also make and earn a lot of money. Okay. Now I'm going to speak to 4 different skill or career paths. And then Ifemena will come to speak about the other 3 within the next few minutes. Okay. Now I'll talk about the business analyst, the business analysis career path, the data analytics career path, the financial analytics, and the HR analytics. All right. Now, what does it take for you to get started in any of this particular career path? As a business analyst, first of all, what do you do? What does a business analyst do? That's the question anybody would like to ask. So if I'm working as a business analyst today, what would be my core job role, my core job function? All right. As a business analyst, your role revolves around helping the company achieve its overall strategy. How? By looking at their processes, identifying inefficiencies in those processes, and coming up with strategies and ways to optimize those processes, all right, to help the company achieve its objectives. And in you doing that, you interact with different stakeholders within the business and outside the business. So internal and external stakeholders. Okay, so you sit down with the head of department, the head of the units, you'd understand their requirements and what they need to get their processes, understand their processes and map out those processes the way they are. And then you as the business analyst, with your understanding of the business, you'd help to optimize those processes by either automating the processes or deploying other initiatives or strategies to optimize those processes to make them more efficient. In discussing with the different business, internal stakeholders, you are getting requirements from them. You are getting, the different, you're eliciting information from them that you need to carry out your task. So you're going to build business requirement documents. Some of the things you need to do is to automate. So you have to understand the software development lifecycle, because you'd interact with developers who would help you build these automations into the processes and so on. So you're going to learn Agile and Scrum to also help you manage projects, because you'd manage projects as a business analyst, all right? You'd also understand how to manage stakeholders and engage with stakeholders. So this would form the crux of the job you do as a business analyst. So you're going to map out processes so you'd understand how to use tools like Visio, like Draw.io, Confluence, Jira, and so on and so forth. And you also need to know how to handle data as a business analyst. So you'd also learn SQL, you'd learn Power BI, and you'd learn Excel for data analytics. Because as a business analyst, these are some of the things you'd be expected to do. Some of the things you'd be expected to help the company achieve, understand how to handle data, come up with insight from that data. So you need some data analytics skills, in addition to the core business analyst skills that you have to learn. Like I said, Agile and Scrum for projects, know how to initiate projects, understand the software development life cycles, and so on and so forth. The question is, what does it take for me to learn business analysis? How long would it take me to learn? 3 months. 3 months. 2 months project-based classes. So you'd learn in class for 2 months, 2 solid months working on projects. And this is the difference between what you do in the university and how you learn skills that are applicable to the real world. In the university, you learn for years, you learn theories that are useless and not useful in the real life work environment, okay? In learning a skill to become a business analyst, what you are learning, you work on projects immediately to apply those skills so that by the time you are done, the same skills you applied during your learning process, working on projects, are the same set of skills you would apply in the real life work environment, okay? You'd learn for 2 months in class, intensive project-based classes, and then you join an internship, a virtual internship for 1 month. So it's a 3 months intensive learning process, 2 months learning, 1 month internship. Your internship is to build a portfolio of projects where you have a simulated real life environment working on different projects, and then you put those projects into a portfolio that you'd showcase to employers during the recruitment process. Employers would want to see what you've done. It's not about how good you are and so on, what you have on your CV, but what have you done? What have you built? You say you are fantastic in this and that. Can you show us your portfolio of projects and so on and so forth? So that's for the business analyst. Quickly, getting into data analytics, becoming a data analyst. You saw the jobs we checked on UK Hired, all right? How to get a data analyst job that would sponsor you. You have a sponsored visa. You have a tier 2 skilled worker visa. You can stay in the country. You can bring your family and you are good to go. What do you need to get started as a data analyst? You need to understand problem solving, because that's the crux of your role as a data analyst, solving problems, helping the business answer key questions. You need to understand how to use Excel for data analytics, get data into Excel, analyze the data, summarize the data using tools like pivot tables, create charts using pivot charts, and create visualizations and dashboard using Excel to extract insights to help the business take data-driven decisions, all right? You'd also need to learn how to use SQL, structured query language. For anybody getting into anything data and you don't know SQL, you're wasting your time and you're just a joke. SQL is absolutely important for anybody getting into anything related to data. And SQL, or structured query language, helps you interact with databases. Organizations will keep their data in a database. So how do you interface with that database? How do you get data from the database before you start analyzing and doing things like that, okay? And then you'd learn how to use Power BI for business intelligence and data analytics. You'd learn Tableau, and you learn data storytelling. So once you are done with all your technical analysis, and you then need to present to the stakeholders that will take the decisions that will drive the company forward, how do you tell your story? So that's data storytelling, all right? And how long does it take for you to learn data analytics and become a data analyst? 3 months as well. 2 months project-based learning. Emphasis on the project-based. Every single class you're working on projects. So it's not about you watching videos. Of course, there's so many people I've worked with. They've been on YouTube all their lives, but they've learned nothing. They bought 1,001 courses and they've learned nothing, all right? Because I always tell people, look, it's not about what you watch. You can watch as many videos as possible and you learn nothing from them. And you would never even get a job because you don't have what it takes to get a job. Because learning the skill is totally different from getting the job. And that's where projects are absolutely important. So for 2 months, you're working on projects. It's a project-based class. And then for 1 month internship, virtual internship, you are building your portfolio of different projects that you've worked on. And when you go into an interview and they ask you questions like, how have you used data to solve a problem for a company? You talk about those projects you've worked on, all right? I worked on a particular case study where I deployed my Power BI and Tableau skills to do X, Y, and Z. You talk about the projects you've worked on, and that gives you credence to the skills you've been able to gain and learn within that period, all right? As a financial analytics professional, financial analytics itself is a fusion of what? Investment banking and data analytics together, all right? So you're going to learn the data analytics skills from problem solving to Excel to Power BI, and then you learn the language of business. You learn financial skills like accounting fundamentals. You learn financial analysis, financial modeling, valuation, sensitivity, and scenario analysis, all right? And again, as a financial analytics professional, and tell me today, is there any company that doesn't need a financial professional to make sense of their financial related data? And of course, your guess is as good as mine. Every company needs one. And these are skills that are also very high in demand. Remember the code 2135 and 2136. These are very important codes to you. And all these jobs we've been talking about all fall within these codes, okay? So if I'm going to look for a job, if I were you, I'm not going to look anywhere else. I'll look at the jobs where I can learn the skill within the shortest period of time and leverage those skills to get jobs that I would be able to extract the maximum value from, okay? Last but not the least, and again, how long does it take? 3 months, just like the other 2 months, intensive and immersive project-based class, and then 1 month virtual internship where you're building projects. You build the valuation, you value a business, you build a financial model from scratch, come up with a concept, build a model, and then you'll be presenting that model to potential investors and so on and so forth, okay? Last but not the least is HR analytics. And HR analytics, obviously, just like a lot of people who are HR today or who are HR professionals, all you've done is just the mundane, typical general things you do in HR. I've worked with somebody who studied HR, to the level of masters in the UK. And she got into the university and realized that, look, this cannot get me anywhere, all right? Paid a lot of money for masters, learned only what? Theory. Now, guess what? She joined our program, the HR analytics program. And about 2 weeks ago, she had 2 offers. 2 offers, one from Bentley, was it Bentley or one from Bentley, the car manufacturer, you all know Bentley, one from Bentley, and the other one was from another organization. The 2 jobs were ready to sponsor her, okay? How did she access those jobs rather? By getting the skills in HR analytics, okay? And the skills is not enough. Like I said, we'll talk about the additional skills you need to close that gap, to bridge the gap between learning and getting a job, okay? But always keep it at the back of your mind that the jobs are there, available, waiting for you, all right? You need the skills, and you also need to know how to position yourself. So as a HR analytics professional, you're going to learn problem solving. You learn Excel and Power BI for data analytics. And then you learn the core HR skills, HR analytics and performance evaluation. You learn how to build dashboards related to people data that exist in the business. You learn how to collaborate and automate your reports as a HR professional, and also building your case and creating action, all right? Now, how long does it take for you to get into HR analytics? 3 months. So you don't need to go back to university to study for 4 years, study for 5 years, study for 3 months, 2 months project-based live classes where you work on projects, you learn the skill, and then you work as an intern. You intern with us for 1 month where you are building projects that you put in your portfolio to showcase to employers. Now, once you've been able to learn any of these skills, and if you may now talk about the other 3, like I said, these are the first 4. Once you've learned these skills, you have the skills, 50% of the job is done. You have another 50%, which I'll come back to talk about in a few minutes. And the other 50% is all about the softer skills required to land the job There are so many people, and people keep on making this mistake. And they think that the fact that I have the skill, guess what? There are 1,000,001 people that have all these skills I've highlighted, 1,000,001. But what differentiates you from them? How did I get started? How did Efemina get started? And how did so many other people who we've also helped to transition, how did they do it? You need to position yourself properly. And I'll come back to talk about that. All the other things you need to do in addition to the skills that you have. So if you're going to go to UK Hired today or tomorrow to apply to those jobs that will sponsor you, there are some certain things you must do. Apart from learning the skills, you must also learn the other softer skills, from your CV to your LinkedIn and so many other things I'll come back to talk about. Okay, so Efemina will quickly walk us through the remote learning bits of things, and then we'll go back to wrap up the other 50% of what is required to position yourself and, you know, separate you clearly from the competition. Okay, I'll take your questions. I can see so many questions coming in. I'll take those questions before we call it a day today. All right. Where does full stack data science fall? Full stack data science is also 2135, 2136. And those are part of the programs Efemina would talk about. All right. Efe, over to you.
All right. Yes. Good evening, everyone. I'm so happy to be here. I'm so glad you guys have been learning a lot. All right, from the session itself. And if you've been learning so much from the session, I want you to drop a yes in the chat. Okay, drop a yes if you're excited about this session at the moment. Put a yes in the chat, and let's get started. All right, fantastic. Just 3 years. I want to bombard this place with yes, yes, exactly. Thank you. I love that. All right, so let me just share my screen. So let's get started.
Kabir, you don't need a degree. You don't need a degree. So for jobs that are on the shortage occupation list, Kabir is asking the question, do I need a degree? You don't, okay? What you all need to just look at the requirements, all right? And once you have the skill, you are good to go. But you don't, a degree is not a limitation to you getting those jobs, all right?
All right, fantastic. Yes. Those are the things those are like the major misconceptions people have about starting starting a job in tech. All right. So that's conventional. I was having a conversation with a very close family friend. And I was trying to convince the person to move from their career path into tech because there are so much opportunities you get in tech. And this is not we just cajoling or we just with talking it, for you guys, okay? There is so much opportunities in tech. There are so much, all right? And, everybody wants to have a piece of that particular lifestyle. You want to call yourself a tech pro, you want to call yourself a taxi, so on and so forth. I know the name sounds fancy, all right? But, it requires a little bit of effort from your own part, okay? I've done my own hustling. I'm still doing hustling, okay? In order for me to get the kind of jobs I'm looking for. But now, we've talked about, getting sponsored job. I saw a couple of messages saying that, what about if you don't want to jackpot? What about if you don't want to leave the country? You don't want to just want to, you want to earn in dollars and you want to work in your own region. So if you're in Kenya, you're in Uganda, you're in Nigeria, you're in Ghana, you don't want to leave the country, right? You want to earn in dollars, do the exchange rate, in black markets, buy yourself a duplex in Lucky, enjoy your life, that kind of thing. I'm not saying it's going to come easy like that, yeah. I'm just saying, I'm just painting a scenario for you, okay? You want to work remotely, you don't want to leave the country, okay? Those are the kind of opportunities that I would like to discuss with you, how to get remote tech jobs, okay? Now, how many of you want to work remotely first before I start? How many of you want to work remotely? I need to know, so I won't waste my time here. Do you want to work remotely? Put yes in the chat. I want to know if you're put. A lot of people want to work remotely. All right. A lot of people want to work remotely. You guys want to chop the money, isn't it? All right. All right. No, that's fine. That's fine. I'm going to show you places you can actually get remote jobs, apply for remote jobs, and work remotely. Like I said at the start of the session, personally, I've not been to any. I've worked with quite a number of organizations in Ireland, in the UK, in the US, both freelance and both freelance, both part-time contract, so on and so forth. And I've never had to go to any physical office. Okay. So I'm going to show that. I'm going to share that with you. We don't want to spend too much time, talking today. Okay. So it's going to be more practical than explanation. So just going straight into it, okay? We might not be able to go through all the sites today, okay? We might not be able to go through all the sites today, but I'm going to show you some of the places you can get remote jobs. And number one on the list, without a doubt in my mind, is LinkedIn. LinkedIn is free of charge. And you guys, people underestimate LinkedIn, all right? LinkedIn is like the Excel of social media, okay? All right, it's highly underestimated. I'm very sure some people say LinkedIn, really. I use LinkedIn every day. I don't see people get LinkedIn is absolutely sweet. Somebody say sweet. Sweet. It's absolutely sweet for remote jobs. I'm going to show you how to get remote jobs on LinkedIn. Okay, like some of you will be doubting it. All right, I'm going to show you. All right, so let's jump straight into it. Okay, I'm going to create my new screen. And that's it. So I'm going to go on LinkedIn, okay? LinkedIn. Some people call it LinkedIn. I'm not sure if that's correct, but it's LinkedIn. All right. You can see, even just going straight into LinkedIn, you can see some of the performance of some of our participants. And I'm really happy whenever I go on LinkedIn, you see this. This is one of our participants, Power Apps Development. He just built an app and is posting it on LinkedIn. Those are part of, building your own portfolio. And those are the things that we teach to our participants. So I'm really excited when I come on LinkedIn and I see, the magical work our participants are doing. Anyways, we'll come back to that. You see project is plenty. If I go down more, you'll see quite a number of them doing a lot of projects, but that's not why we're here today. We want to get remote jobs. Somebody say remote jobs. Remote jobs. All right, so I'm going to go to jobs. All right. All of us, one way or the other, you've looked for jobs on LinkedIn, so you'll know where the job icon is on LinkedIn. All right. So click on jobs. Okay. And I would search for a particular job. All of you might be saying, you can see this data scientist, United States, data scientist, Canada. All right. So I'm more of a data scientist. So if you see all these remote jobs, that's where I am. All right. So let's take a look at data engineering. Okay. Let's take a look at data engineer. Okay. Data engineer. All right. And you're looking at becoming a data engineer in the US, okay, in United States, okay. And this is it. I'm going to click on search, okay. And you see some different kinds of roles because of search engine, okay. So some roles are not tied directly to it, might appear, okay. So I'm just going to look at DevOps engineer, look at these are full-time roles. This is hybrid, this is on-site, this is on-site, this is on-site, and so on and so forth. But we are not looking for on-site because you would need visa for you to go on-site to the office. So we're looking for remote. Okay. So when you see on-site / remote, okay, sometimes it might be hidden. You might need to click on all filters and you'll be able to see all filters for different roles you can apply for. All right. So if you're looking for contract, you're looking for part-time, you're looking for this and that, there's a beautiful place for you to go to. Now, I'll tell you categorically, if you're in the UK or you're in Canada, I think Canada now currently you don't have restrictions anymore. Okay, so you can work as many hours as possible. But in the UK and Ireland, I know majority of the EU countries, majority of countries in Europe, anywhere you're doing your masters, you have that 20-hour limit. Okay, so rather than you looking for that's kind of menial jobs that you have to do. All right. I wish somebody told me this earlier. Okay. You will be able to get full-time roles outside of Europe. Okay. You can get a job in the US where you get to work full-time. The time difference also works for you as a student, so that's not too bad. But anyways, not student. We're looking at anybody. You're in Nigeria, you're looking for a job remotely in the US. It also applies to you. All right. So we're going to be looking at, I'm just going to cancel all filters. Rather than on-site, okay, you have on-site, you have remote, and you have hybrid. Hybrid is 50-50, not necessarily 50-50, but you have to go to the office once in a week, once in a month, regardless of how it works, you need to go to the office. All right. But we don't want to go to the office. We want to work in Alagbaka, want to work in Lekki, you want to work in Yaba, you want to work in Akopa, you want to work in Kaduna, you want to work in Kwara, you want to work in Kogi, you want to work in Kogi. Yes, you can get jobs from Kogi states. Absolutely. Lisa is laughing. All right, so I'm going to click on remote here. I'm going to click on remote, and you can see show 4,000 plus results. Okay, and I'm going to click on that. Now, this is data engineering, okay? And you can see this, all right? Like I said, it's a search engine, so it's not going to be 100% correct. So you can see this data engineer, okay? So data engineer, and you can see what you have here, okay? And this is with Stripe, okay? And they're offering it what? Fully remote. This is remote, okay? So no visa sponsorship, nothing. They need somebody to work remotely. All right. And you see some of the skill set that they're looking for. It's literally all there. Okay. Modern experience with Python, Airflow, so on and so forth, building ETL pipelines and all that. All right. And so on and so forth. And these are the ways you can actually get those remote jobs that you are looking for. All right. So let's take a look at, let's say HR analytics, HR analyst. Okay. Take a look at HR analyst in the US and click on search again. All right. So you see compensation analyst. All right. You can see compensation analyst where you can get room, and this is fully remote. You don't need to work anywhere. You're working from the convenience of your room, of your house, and so on. Another key thing people make mistake of is because you learned HR analyst or you learned HR analytics, you feel it's only HR roles you can apply for. And that's another misconception with this. Okay, it's not only HR analyst. There's so many roles you can apply for. All right, there's talent analyst, there's compensation analyst, there is, there are so many roles, people analyst, so on and so forth. So even though you search for those roles, all right, it's not just HR. You can see this is a workforce planning analyst. This is HR related also. All right. So these are the roles you can actually apply for. Some of them, the salaries are there. Some of them, the salaries are not there. That's left to you to know what you're looking for. Now, it doesn't mean it has to be the US. Okay. It could be Canada also. To say that you're looking for fully remote roles in Canada. All right. All right. So fully remote roles, you can see a senior business, HR business analyst. All right. They're looking for, okay, in Genesis, Ontario, Canada. And this is fully remote. Now, bear in mind here, I'm not saying that all the jobs are fully remote. They are fully remote. They are remote. Now, depending on the organization, and that's why I tell most people right from the start that you need to apply for several jobs. Everybody knows that once you apply for a job, you're not applying for 2, 3 jobs and thinking that you will land one out of 3 jobs. Even as I am currently, if I need to change my job today, I will need to apply, for several jobs, get the one I'm looking for. So in this scenario, you would need to apply for jobs, okay? You can see you have quite a number of results that you get here for HR analysts, and you can apply for, if possible, apply for everything, all right? And luckily, that one will get to you. So, and that's the same thing with the United Kingdom also. If you're looking at United Kingdom, all right? HR analysts in the United Kingdom, you can see a ton of them coming up, remote opportunities, all right? Another thing you could do, all right? So you have analytical skills, okay? You can work as a data analyst, you can work as a business intelligence analyst, you can work as a, even want to work as a business analyst, so on and so forth. Rather than looking for a specific field, you can leave it blank and let LinkedIn give it to you. Leave it blank. And once you specify the kind of analyst that you want to be. A friend of one of our participants now turned a friend. Okay, he went through the training program. He used to work as a cashier back in Nigeria, as a cashier in the bank, in branch operations. He came to the UK and currently, after going through the training program, currently works as a compensation and something analyst. Now, if you were searching for just data analyst, or if you're just searching for HR analyst, financial analyst, you will likely not get that kind of role. All right. There's so many kinds of analytical roles. So rather than streamlining yourself to just data analyst, leave it blank. Okay, just type in the word analyst and let's see what happens. Okay. Now, this will give you a ton more of jobs that you can actually apply for. You can see this. This is just a senior analyst, but this is Luca. All right. So you see the senior data analyst, senior web analyst. Now, if you're looking at data alone, you would not see this. Absolutely not. You won't. All right. There's product analyst, there's MI analyst, management information analyst. There is so many types of analysts. There's pipeline reporting analyst. So any kind of analytics, okay? And if you want to be more specific, and now one key thing I would like to tell you guys is don't keep your skills just to one niche. If you're trying to, don't niche yourself, especially if you're trying to transition into tech, don't niche yourself. All right. So be as dynamic as possible so that any role you see, you can apply for it. Okay. And that goes to business analysts. It's not just business analyst roles you can apply for. There's process improvement, there's change management, there's project management. There are so many roles you can actually apply for. So don't just limit it to just business analyst when you're searching for jobs. Okay. But one key thing, yeah, one key thing you know at the back of your mind, okay? And you need to be absolutely honest with yourself. Absolutely honest with yourself is when you look at this kind of job roles, okay? When you look at this sort of job roles, you need to be honest with yourself. And that is, do you have the skills to take these jobs? That's just you being, just look at the job JD, okay? All right. And ask yourself, let's just pick one of the, let's take a business analyst role, okay, for example. All right. And just ask yourself that unique question. Can I do this? Do I have skills? Or if don't even look at JD, don't even look at JD itself. Just ask yourself this key question. Do I have skills that employers are looking for? All right. It's an honest and a very sad question because the moment you know at the back of your mind, you think you know how to use Excel. What can you use Excel to do? All right. What can you use apart from Excel? What other skills do you have that recruiters are looking for that you need to latch into? Now, remote jobs are not for people that know how to carry file from second floor to the third floor, or you know how to, I don't know, you know how to do some administrative work. If you know work remotely, you can't get a job working remotely using very mundane skills. All right. There's certain skill set that you need to have in order for you to get remote jobs. Okay. So LinkedIn is one of the most powerful places. Okay. Another key thing I would like you to do when you're using LinkedIn is the date posted. The date that these jobs were posted. You don't want to be applying for a job that was posted, a couple of weeks ago. All right. Because the likelihood of you getting that job, it's slimmer because a lot of people would have applied for that role already. So you want to take it to, let's say, start with past week, okay? Start with the past week and see the roles that arrived in past week and apply for those ones first, okay? You can even try the past 24 hours first. Finish those ones that, the past 24 hours, then go to past 1 week, all right, and start applying downwards, okay? So you could even filter out the experience level, all right? There is nothing like experience level in tech, and that's one painful thing. There's nothing like experience level. So if at the back of your mind you feel like, oh, I just want to, I'll learn on YouTube, and I'll go and look for entry level job where I can learn on the job. But honestly speaking, there are 5 million people just in Nigeria that are in that category. That category you're talking about, there are over 5 million, if not more than 5. There should be like 77 million people. Like that in Nigeria. Okay. I have that same mindset. Let me just go and look for a place where I can learn and grow. All right. Those things don't work. There is nobody, there's no organization that is looking for people to grow and learn. There's no chance. There's no breathing space for you to do that. All right. People are looking for, or organizations are looking for people that will come and get to work. Okay, that will get to work. Okay, so those are the kind of things that you need to get into. So how do you now position yourself, not at the entry level, or with somebody that have experience? That's where analytics comes in. Okay, that's where we come in with our approach to learning, to our approach to teaching, to our approach to you leveraging the skills that you will learn in getting the job that you're looking for. That's what we do best. That's why we're here. Literally, that's why we're here. What's the time now? It was 9 to 10, okay, to tell you can actually do this. All right, learn the skills and work on projects and use this project to get the job that you're looking for, not as a newbie, but as an experienced professional. All right. So now that's LinkedIn, okay? Okay, that's LinkedIn. Okay. So I'm just gonna go back to my slide quickly. So that's LinkedIn. Who did that? We just look at just LinkedIn. All right. And there are multiple of jobs, remote jobs that you can get there. All right. And while you visit LinkedIn, don't just use LinkedIn just to connect with people and like people's objects, or like people's photo and so forth. You could also use it to get remote jobs. There are tons of jobs on LinkedIn that you can actually get. Another thing is we've never explored the areas of recruiters. Okay, recruiters sending you emails. They call it emails. All right. So if your LinkedIn is optimized, now let me ask this question: is your LinkedIn profile, do you have an optimized LinkedIn profile? If you have, put LinkedIn in the chat. If you know what LinkedIn optimization even stands for, you can put it in the chat. All right, I'll continue with the sessions anyway. All right. So if you have an optimized LinkedIn profile, it becomes easy for recruiters to reach out to you. It becomes easy for recruiters to reach out to you. If you don't have that LinkedIn optimized, okay, I'm telling you, you never know what I'm talking about. You even have an idea of what LinkedIn optimize emails, what email stands for. The only emails you'll be getting is for you to be, I don't know, for you to get to use LinkedIn Premium. So that the only emails you'll be getting. You won't be getting emails for job adverts and so on and so forth. All right. So, anyways, that's LinkedIn. Let's explore something else. So, the other career path that you can actually take on is data science. All right. Data science is the sexiest job of the future. This was said probably 10 years ago. All right. So, that 10 years ago is now, okay? It's not that future is from today, it's from now, okay? The future has started. That sexiest job for data science has already started. All right. So, data science is a fantastic career path. Why do I mean fantastic? You'll be working at a part of innovation, creativity, and you'll be working with the top level people within the organization. Now, to do what? What will you be working with these people to do as a data scientist? Okay, you'll be doing what we call forecasting, predictive analytics. Okay, you'll be doing all this in order to tell the business what is likely going to happen in the future. What's in terms of supply chain, in terms of logistics, in terms of demand, in terms of supply, in terms of production, so whatever it is. All right. Now, let's just take a very simple example. All right. iPhone is going to bring out a new phone this year. Likelihood is yes, they will bring out a new brand this year. All right. Samsung, the same thing. Samsung is going to bring out a new phone this year. So majority of these organizations, majority of these brands that we work with or that we use, okay, bring a new product. Now, have you ever sat down to think to say that, okay, how do they know the amount of iPhones they should produce? Have you ever thought about it? Do you think they'll just come up with a random, we'll make 2 million products, we'll start selling it, we'll sell 150 in Lagos, Nigeria, we'll sell the other 150,000 in the UK? No. Do you ever think, how do they know? Okay, who comes up with this value, with this figure to say that let's produce this number of products when we are launching, right? The reasons why they need to determine that product, the number of products they need to sell, is to avoid what we call wastage. Wastage, all right? Because if they go ahead to produce a lot more than what if supply goes above demand itself, there's going to be an offset, and that will lead to a lot of wastage. To reduce the price of the phone, okay? Because it's so much in supply, it will start to crash the price of the iPhone. So how do they determine what number of products they need to produce in order for them to maximize profit? Okay, that's one of the role of a data scientist. Come up with those numbers so that iPhone, let's produce this number of products. Okay, so on and so forth. You can apply this to any industry you find yourself. Now, the beauty of a full stack data scientist also is the ability of you to work with what we call structured and unstructured data. Now, you'll be looking at, if you may now, what is structured, what is unstructured data? It's very simple and straightforward. Okay, structured data is data like you can put in rows and column. Now, if you don't know what rows and column is, okay, I would explain it to you also in a very simple way. All right. So if you've ever played name of let's say name of cars that you draw like a line, You put name, animal, place, thing, and you draw lines across name, animal, place, and thing. Then you put A, B, C, D, E, F all the way to Z. And you do what? I call on S. Then you start to write, the name F, the country F, and so on and so forth. All right. So you see that table that you designed in order for you to put the name, animal, place, or thing. That's a table. Okay. All right. And you have a row for letter A, another row for letter B, another row for letter C, D, E, F, all the way to Z. That's a table. So any data that looks like that in that tabular format in row and column is referred to as a structured data. Unstructured data, on the other hand, is data you cannot put in rows and column. All right. Data you cannot put in rows and column. That's what we refer to as unstructured data. Data like pictures. How do you analyze a picture? For example, how do you analyze my voice, the way I speak? You speak to Siri, and Siri answers you back. Hello, Siri. How you doing today? They all answer you back. Okay. Hello, Google. Google will respond to you. How is it that you can build an application whereby when you speak to it, it's going to respond to you? That's what we call natural language processing. That is all full of a data scientist. Okay. So as a data scientist, you'll be working with those kind of technologies, okay, and so on, in order for you to build products of the future. Well, so what skills do you need? Okay. Obviously, you need coding. All right. Python is what you will learn. All right. You will also learn mathematics and you will learn statistics. A lot of people run away from this, okay? But the fun thing is, it's actually easy to learn. It's absolutely easy to learn. And that's why we've designed a very structured training program that will take you from beginning to the end of your science, right? So we'll start with statistics, okay? Stuff like the measure of central tendency, measure of asymmetry. Measure of central tendency is basically mean, median, and mode, okay? So on and so forth. So you will learn statistics. You will learn the statistics that you need to become a full stack data scientist. All right. You also learn forecasting and predictive analytics in Excel, in Microsoft Excel. Okay. So you learn how to do forecasts. You learn how to do predictions using Microsoft Excel. You would also go ahead to use Tableau for data analytics and predictive analytics. All right, so Tableau is what you're going to be using for data analysis, data visualization and predictive analytics. Thereafter, you move to SQL. SQL is the language of data. SQL is the language of data. So you learn SQL for getting data from different databases and uploading them, and getting the data out of the database. Okay. You learn Python, okay? You learn what we call exploratory data analysis. Under exploratory data analysis, you do what we call univariate analysis, bivariate analysis, and multivariate analysis. All this might sound so vague to you, but that's why this training program has been designed to take you end to end of what data science is all about. Okay? Then we'll do machine learning. You will learn how to, build and deploy your machine learning algorithms. And last but not least, computer vision, okay? How you can analyze, visualize, and analyze pictures, build feature recognition systems, so on and so forth, okay? So that's what you'll be working on in computer vision, okay? So the average salary of a data scientist in the UK is £50,000. The average salary of a data scientist in Canada is 94,000 Canadian dollars, and in the US is $121,000 in the US. All right. So those are the average salary. You can see these are very juicy salary. Okay, these are absolutely juicy, nice salary. Okay. Now you'll be asking, how do I get started? Okay, how many months or how many years will it take me to get started? Absolutely. It's actually just 4 months. 4 months, it takes you only 4 months for you to become a full stack data scientist. Now, 3 months of learning and 1 month of free internship. It's a free internship, free virtual internship. Okay, 3 months of learning where you get to learn statistics, Excel, Tableau, Python, machine learning. You use 3 months of immersive and intensive training program. All right. Then the remaining 1 month is the free virtual internship where you get to work on more projects, more industry relevant projects. and you build that in order for you to get started in data science. Okay. Now, also data engineering. I'll talk briefly on data engineering, not briefly, but as detailed as possible. All right. Now, for data engineering is more or less like it's that career path. It's new. It's relatively new. Okay. A couple of months ago, a couple of years ago, I mean, all right, there was no role designed for data engineering. Now I get a lot of people see data engineer, I need to learn data engineer. I mean, I was even talking to a friend of mine works as a data analyst at the moment, one of the top banks here in the UK. And it was like, oh, they're looking for data engineers in the organization. So he's going to spend the next couple of months learning data engineering in order for him to get that role, okay, within the organization. Okay, because and that data engineers are even earning double than what data analysts are earning at the moment in that same organization and work in the same departments. Now, why is there so much demand for data engineer? Why are organizations looking to pay more money for data engineers than data analysts, data scientists, and any other data professional, or even any other tech professional? All right. Data engineers at the moment even earn more than some software developers confidently. And this is me talking, beating my chest about it. And why are they paying so much for data engineering? All right. It's very simple. If data is not available for any organization, you can't do anything. Nothing can be done. Absolutely nothing can be done. All right. So the data scientists need data to do predictions, to do prediction, machine learning, so on and so forth. A data scientist needs data. That's the tool they work with. That's what they need. If without data, a data scientist cannot do anything. Okay. Also, vice versa, the same thing with data analyst. Without data, the data analyst is handicapped. Can't do anything. Nothing. No work can be done without the data. All right. The same thing with HR analyst, financial analyst, and any other analytical or any other tech professional within the organization. If there is no data, the business analyst will not know what to do or what decisions to take or what background to build the analysis on. All right. So the data engineer is at the center, is at that focal point that drives change within the organization. Now, imagine you have a well in your house, or you have a borehole in your house, depending on where you are. So if you don't know what a well is, okay, a well or a borehole, you're trying to build your house. Back in Nigeria, we used to have what we call well or a borehole. Okay, so the well is there, but you need to get water running across the house. Okay, you need to get water running across the house. All right. That's why you have to employ who we call a plumber. Okay. Now this plumber will do what? We take water from the well or the borehole, okay, and create pipes that makes water run across the house, from the kitchen to the bathroom to outside in the car park, everywhere in the garage and everywhere else. Okay. So the data engineer is that professional that ensures that data is available across the organization. Okay. So the well is the central data source, okay? What we call a data lake or a data warehouse or a database, essentially, okay? So that database is available. But now, who makes this data available on demand for data analysts, data scientists, financial analysts, HR analysts, and so on across your organization? It's the job of a data engineer to make data available for people across the organization, moving data from one source to another source. It's something we call ETL pipeline, extract, transform, and load pipelines. So a data engineer is that one responsible for moving data from point A to point B. Okay. So now, in terms of the things that you need to get started in data engineering, very straightforward and easy to work with. You will require a lot of coding anyways. So if you're looking to get into data engineering, you need coding. All right. But this coding you would need is learnable. It's something you can learn. It's something that you can actually learn. Okay. So you learn it. So we're going to start from the basics. This training program is designed for absolute beginners. So you have experience in data engineering, you have experience in data science, data analytics, you don't have experience, it's fine. All right. I have been an accountant all my life. I want to move away from accounting. Absolutely. This is a career path that you can take on. All right. So introduction to data engineering. So we would introduce you to data engineering, SQL, Python, building ETL pipelines, that ETL pipelines I talked about. So it's not physical pipeline, it's a digital pipeline, okay? You learn how to work with APIs to move data using APIs, so on and so forth. You learn how to automate your pipeline using Apache Airflow. So you'll be using Apache Airflow to orchestrate, schedule your pipelines to run by themselves. Okay. So the next and last thing you will get to learn is AWS, Amazon Web Services. So Amazon Web Services is one of the largest cloud platforms across the world. You'll learn AWS in order for you to do what we call cloud engineering. Okay. So majority of the organizations are moving away from on-premise databases. Okay. So if you've ever gone to the bank or you've gone to any institution, really, all right, you'll see one dedicated room that has a lot of wire connected to something, okay, connected to so many boxes and so on. All right. That's what we call an on-premise database. Okay. So majority of these organizations are moving from on-premise to cloud, okay? And one of the most preferred skills or one of the most preferred cloud sources, data cloud platform is AWS. So you've learned AWS for cloud engineering. So it's absolutely for beginners. So you've never learned it before. You have interest to becoming a data engineer. This training program is going to take you from that beginner level to that, intermediate expert level, okay? Now, the average salary of a data engineer in the UK is £60,000. Okay, the average salary of a data engineer in the UK is £60,000. In Canada, it's 92,000, and in the US, it's $114,000. Now, the entire duration to get to become a data engineer is 4 months, 3 months of intensive and immersive learning, and 1 month of free internship. 1 month free internship. All right. So you don't need mathematics or statistics. No mathematics, no statistics. The only thing you require is Python. Okay, Python and SQL. That's the major thing that you learn. Python and SQL. Okay. So you also learn AWS, Apache Airflow. You learn to work with Linux. You work with so many other technologies along the line as you become a data engineer itself. All right. So other places where you can get remote jobs. Okay, we'll look at LinkedIn. This time around, we're going to look at Wellfound. We're going to look at Upwork. Okay, but we're going to look at Wellfound and we're going to look at Upwork. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my browser quickly. And I'm going to type in Wellfound. All right. Majority of the sites I have we personally within Analytics that we share with our participants. We have a list of over 30 sites where you can actually get remote jobs. All right. So we have jobs if you're looking for Europe specific jobs. So you want to work in Netherlands, you want to work in Germany, France, in any place in Europe, remotely, remote jobs, only remote jobs. Some of them offer visa sponsorship. Some of them don't offer visa sponsorship. But essentially, we have a list of jobs a list of job sites you can actually apply to get that remote jobs itself. So we provide that for our participants. If you go to our training program, that is absolutely provided for you. Okay, so I'm going to just find your next job. Click on find your next job, and I'll show you some of the. You can see some of the organizations. These are fully remote roles. Fully remote roles. Now you can see some of these features. Featured startups are hiring right now. Okay, we have Airbnb, Bentley, Netflix, and Pluralsight. Okay, I'm just going to go down. Okay, to look for data analytics, for example, data and analytics job. Now, currently for this particular site, you need to register, create a profile. You need to create all the things you need to create. You need to log in essentially and create a profile. Okay, so once you have that, okay, you would see that majority of the roles for data analytics. You see, you have data engineer, data engineer, data engineer, data engineer, data insight engineer. All right, and you can see the salary. This is data logs, New York City, and this is the salary, range for this role: $110,000 to $150,000. All right, leverage is the same thing, New York City, but this is not all the jobs. If I click on new jobs, okay, it's going to tell me to register, okay, because I think you need to register. But essentially, at your own discretion, you can actually register and you'll be able to see a list of all the jobs that you can apply for. Even if it's a sales analyst role, you can also look for that. If it's marketing, if it's business, you can see HR recruiting jobs. If it's finance, financial analytics, and so on, you can get all those remote jobs in there. All right. So there are tons of jobs, places you can actually get remote jobs. Another very good place is Upwork. I'm just going to show you Upwork real quick. I'm going to show you Upwork. So with Upwork, I'll just click on find work. So once you go to Upwork, this is the home page for Upwork. All you need to do is go to find work. Then you see find work for your skills. Find work for your skills. Click on that and you get to see. I'll just go down to D, okay, where you have the D, all right? And you see data miner, data scientist, data analytics freelancer, you'll see data entry specialist, you'll see sort of data cleaning analyst, data analyst. You see tons of roles around, analytics roles itself. So I'm just going to go to, let's say, data science, for example, open a new tab, all right? And you see urgent data analysis for a business project, okay? And some of these rules, all these rules pay in dollars. I'm just going to take a look at this. This is $3 to $35 per hour. $3 to $35 per hour. This is a freelance role, okay? When you have, less than a month duration. So if you're looking at that flexibility, you don't want to work for one organization for a long period of time. You just want to work, get your dollars, move to the next project. You're moving from one project to the other. This is a wonderful place to get this kind of roles. All right. So let's say data scientist. All right. Data visualization through Power BI. Okay. Data from Azure. Okay. And that's $30. All right. So you can see all these roles are all one-time projects, or some of them have duration of 3 to 6 months, so on and so forth. So you can see data scientist and programmer, okay, sentimental and text analysis, okay, so on and so forth. You can see this machine learning for Excel sheets. So like I said, majority of the time you will learn only most organizations out there that train for data science train you on just Python. Okay. But the beauty of what we call this a full stack data science program is your ability to work with analytical tools to perform data science tasks. Because not every organization use Python, to be honest. Okay. Some of them still use Excel. And how do you not use Excel to perform predictive analytics, to build your own statistical analysis, statistical models, and so on? Yes, you will learn how to do that. And that's what we're going to teach you. You learn to do that in Excel, in Tableau, all right, and you do it also in Python. So this is $10 to $30 per hour, okay, and you have less than 30 hours per week. So these are some of the opportunities, and the reason why we're showing you this is because there are a lot of jobs you can actually get from all the sites. These are only 3 sites we've shown you, and I'm telling you, I have over 30 sites. I'm not going to show you a sneak peek, because some people will record it and take a screenshot of it, so I won't show you. All right. Okay, so that's the benefit of you going through our training program. We give you that. It's free of charge once you join our training program. We give it to you free of charge. All right. Now, that is well found, absolutely free for jobs in the US, specifically for most times only for jobs in the US. Upwork, on the other hand, is freelance. Anywhere you are in the world, okay, you can work freelancing, okay? Now, the last career path we're going to look at today is the BI/Power Platform Engineer. Now, I get a lot of people that say that if I don't want to code, I don't want to learn mathematics, I don't want to code, I don't want to learn mathematics, I don't want to learn statistics, I don't want to learn anything maths at all, okay? I want a career that is no coding and easy for me to work with. Now, what career path is that? We usually tell them, if you're going to be looking for those kind of career path, is what we call the BI/Power Platform Engineer. Now, the engineer is there, okay? But you're not doing mathematics, statistics, or coding, okay? Now, a lot of people know Power BI. And if I bring it open to you guys, okay, I'm sure every one of you, okay, know what we call, everybody knows Power BI, all right? So you know Power BI, but you don't know Power Platform. That's a major misconception. So I'm just going to go back to my browser and I'll show you something real quick. So I'm going to show you Power Platform. Okay, you're going to go to Power Platform. I'm going to check images. Okay, and you'd easily see this. You will see this Power BI, Power Automate, Power Apps, Power Automate, and Power Virtual Agent. So this is the Power Platform, but everybody's stuck on learning only Power BI. Everybody's stuck on just learning Power BI. But what about Power Apps, Power Automate, and Power Virtual Agent? This is low-code platform that spans Office 365, Azure Dynamics 365, and standalone applications. So you see, everybody is stuck on Power BI, but nobody's talking about Power Apps, Power Automate, and Power Virtual Agent. And there are jobs for individual technology. So you will see jobs around Power BI developer. You will see jobs around Power Apps developer. You will see jobs around Power Automate developer, Power Virtual Agent developer. And the organization are also looking for people that know all these technologies together and use it to build, solutions for the organization. So Power BI is for analytics, like for data analytics, data visualization, data analysis, so on and so forth. Okay. Now you also have Power Apps, okay, that you use to build applications, that you use to build custom-made application, web-based application for your organization. All right, and that's what I was showing you on LinkedIn when I went online. Okay, it's gone already. Okay, so those are the kind of technologies you get to learn. Power Apps for app development, Power Automate for data process automation, and Power Virtual Agent for you to build chatbots. Okay, so chatbot you can use within the organization and also outside the organization to interact with customers, stakeholders, and so on and so forth. So the Power Platform Developer Training Program is it's a career path that would take you off your toes without you learning coding, mathematics, or statistics. So we're going to start from the beginning, which is Introduction to Power Platform. Then we'll move also into Microsoft Power BI. You learn SQL, you learn Power Automate, you learn Power Apps, you learn Power Virtual Agents. And lastly is building your case and creating action, which is very important. Okay, so you learn all the tools within the Power Platform. Okay, Power BI, Power Apps, Power Virtual Agent, and Power Automate. Okay, so the average salary of a Power Platform developer is £45,000. The average salary of a Power Platform developer in the UK is £45,000. In Canada is 72,000 Canadian dollars, and in the US is $110,000. $110,000. Now, to become a Power Platform developer, it takes you 3 months to become a Power Platform developer. 3 months in order for you to become a Power Platform developer. So you can learn in learning processes for 2 months. You learn this for thought you need codes to build chatbots. That's exactly what people think. Okay. All right. So you don't need that. So we have Power Virtual Agents that absolutely helps you build chatbots without you coding, without any form of code. If we have enough time today, I'll show you some of the applications our participants have built, okay, to automate and also to build chatbot and even applications. All right. So intern, okay, we'll do internship for 1 month. So the training program is for 2 months and internship for 1 month. Internship for 1 month. Okay. So these are the career paths that we have. And now, if I should ask you guys, okay, which of these tech careers are you interested in? I'll just give you a few seconds to answer. Okay. So which of these career paths that we've discussed, from business analysis to data analytics, to full stack data science, data engineering, HR analytics, financial analytics, and BI/Power Platform, which of these career paths would you like to get a remote job in? So I can say data science, I can say data analysis, data engineering, data analytics. Data analytics is taking the lead at the moment. Financial analytics for offsets, okay. We have DA, data science, full stack data science, and data engineering. All right, it's fantastic. It's good that you guys have, a career path that you're interested in, that you want to take it. Well, now, the honest question now is, do you have the skill sets to become these career paths that you're looking for? Do you have the skill sets that will take you to become a business analyst, a Power Platform developer, data engineer, a data scientist, a data analyst, so on and so forth? All right, do you have that skill? That's a question you need to ask yourself. We've talked about all these technologies you're going to learn. Okay, but now the key question now is, do you have the skills to get that job? Now, and that's where we come in as a training firm and as a training institution. Okay, so the training, I'll talk about the learning roadmap for our training program. Okay, so we don't expect you to have the skills going through the training program. We don't expect you to have any of the skills, all the career paths that you've listed in. We don't expect you to be. We don't expect you to be an expert or even know anything in any of the technology that we're going to teach you. And that's why we have designed this learning roadmap in which either the training program could be for 3 months, some could be for 2 months, regardless. Okay, and they are all project based. Okay, so myself, Adeza, and all other facilitators that we have engaged. Okay, we work on different projects, and these projects that we work on as professionals in our daily life is what we use in training participants. All right. So these are all projects that are relevant within the industry that you will be taking forward to tell potential recruiters that I have worked on this project. I have built this solution. These are the things I have worked on. And essentially, it's not theory that gets you the job. It's the projects you've worked on that will get you that job. Now, if you know how to use Excel, you know how to use VLOOKUP, index match, you know how to use pivot tables, or what have you used it to solve? What project have you used pivot table to solve? What solutions have you used pivot table to create? I know how to use Python, okay? How have you solved problems using Python? What business solutions have you built in your organization using the Power Platform? So those are the key questions they would ask you. If you don't have an answer to that, you will likely not get the job that you're looking for. And that's why we designed this experiential approach of learning, whereby you work on projects. We give you projects to work on, and you enhance your skills using those projects that we give to you. All right. So whenever a potential recruiter reach out to you, you will be so confident in your skills. All right. And also you'll be able to tell stories about how you use those tools to solve problems. Okay. So either you go for any of the training programs, you understand some of them are 3 months, some of them are for 2 months. So those are the learning journey. But one thing that is constant is your 1 month free internship. Free of charge. You're not paying for that. This is now when you get to work with other team members. So we have people going from from the data analytics, data science, Power Platform. So this internship, you get to work as a team. Okay, there is a project that we have, and you get to work together as a team to solve this problem itself. Okay, so this is where you now get extra work experience. Working with data analytics to build solutions. All right. Now, the training program is virtual instructor-led classes. They are all virtual instructor-led classes, whereby you have a facilitator that will be taking you through the program. And now the beauty of virtual is, you have some of the best people that would be teaching you. Okay, you have the best people that would be teaching you data analytics, business analysis, data engineering, so on and so forth. So these are the people that will be training you on how you can actually get started. Now, another thing is the training programs are absolutely recorded. They're 100% recorded. Now, a lot of people are talking about, oh, do you have a physical class? Do you have a physical this? Do you have a physical location and all that? But the funny thing is that people are looking for remote jobs, okay? And I really don't understand it. People are looking for a remote job, but they don't want to learn remotely. So I'm conflicted. Where do you belong to? Okay, you don't want to learn remotely, but you want to work remotely. It's baffling. I don't understand. So all the sessions are absolutely recorded. You get everything. All the recordings for the sessions are recorded. So even if you miss something, you miss a class, you would always get access to this recording of from the class itself. So you collaborate with other participants on Zoom, Slack, Google Classroom, WhatsApp, so on and so forth. So use all these technologies in order for you to collaborate with other professionals across the world. And another key thing I needed to say about the virtual classes is that you are going to be working with people across the world, not just Nigerians, not just Ghanaians, not just guys in the UK. You're going to be talking with people from Canada, from Australia, from Germany, from France, Italy, Asia, and so on and so forth. And that's the beauty of what we are trying to build. All right. Flexible classes. So we don't have classes Monday to Friday. classes are only on the weekends, Saturdays and Sunday. All right. So regardless of how busy a professional that you are, as long as you work Monday to Friday alone, Saturday and Sundays, you have time for you to upskill yourself. Okay. So the classes are live, okay, Saturdays and Sunday. Okay. So Saturday for live classes and Sunday for self-paced watch me do it videos. All right. Practical videos where you get to work on more projects. The videos are designed for you to work on more projects, build more portfolio, build more projects for your portfolios, so on and so forth. So the classes are on Saturday and on Sunday. So weekends, essentially. All right. So it would also get you access to, skills, and you get to work on projects. So we'll do what we call mentorship sessions, okay, where we mentor each participant. We do so many other, activities in order for you to be prepared to get that job that you're looking for. So even if you learn all the technical skills, you learn Excel, Power BI, business analysis, data engineering, you learn all those skill sets that we're talking about. If you cannot sell yourself, it becomes a problem. Okay, it becomes a problem. So we have capstone projects, okay, that you get to work on, and you also get the 1 month virtual internship. So this is your learning roadmap. If you get to choose Tenalytics, okay, this is your learning roadmap when you get to choose Tenalytics. You have the 3 month learning journey. You have virtual instructor-led classes. You have, flexible classes that are on Saturdays and Sunday, weekends. And you also have job-ready activities that will get you ready for the job, remote jobs or sponsorship job, whatever job that you're looking for. We would help you get that desire that you're looking for. All right. I think I don't know. I know you would like to take this, so let me just hand it over to you.
All right, thank you very much for that, Ife. Fantastic presentation. And I can see a couple of questions. What time on Saturdays and Sundays? We're going to cover all of that in the next few seconds. I'm just going to share my slide and continue. So if he has given us a breakdown of what we are expecting, yeah? And if you remember, I said something very important, which is, and if you also touched on it too, you can learn all the technical skill in the world. And guess what? 1,000,001 people have the same technical skill that you probably just learned. Okay, so how do you set yourself apart? Apart from the project, I'll tell you for a fact is our number one differentiator. That's what differentiates us from any other person in the market. That's number one. Number two are the sets of additional programs that we bring to you that I'm going to quickly touch on that helps you stand out. Okay, so if you ever find yourself in a gathering, if you find yourself with your family, when you're going to bed this evening and somebody asks you, oh, you joined the session this evening, what's different between Tenalytics and any other training institutes out there? Tell them these two things. Number one, you work on project-based classes, 100% project-based. So it's experiential. As you are learning, you are practicalizing and implementing those skills. The second thing that differentiates us, and this has made us successful over the last 3 years on helping people transition, because like we said, that's our mission and that's our goal, to help you transition into getting a job. So it's not just all about learning. It's all about bridging that gap between learning in the classroom and getting a job at the end of the day. What do you need to get started? What do you need to make that transition and bridge the gap? Number one is your CV review. Okay, so we always tell people that you could have all the skills in the world. If you don't know how to structure it on your CV in a way that a recruiter sees your CV and would want to engage with you, okay, because your CV is a representation of you in paper format. Are you attractive to the employer? Okay, would your CV pass through an ATS system, an applicant tracking system, and you have the right keywords for them to call you up to say, come for an interview? All right, so these are the questions you need to ask yourself, and we help you learn how to review your CV, okay? So that when you're applying to a job, you're applying to 10 jobs, 20 jobs, 50 jobs, you know how to tailor your CV to meet the specific requirements of those jobs. And that increases the opportunity for you to get your foot into the door. Because once you have an interview, we have the mechanism in place to ensure that you land a job at the end of the day. So CV review is number one. Number two is LinkedIn optimization. So if Femena walks you through LinkedIn, how to get remote jobs, but that's just one part. The other angle is you're applying to jobs on LinkedIn, but you don't have anything on your profile that shows that you've been doing that particular role. So let's take, for example, you are in Nigeria, you are in Abuja or in Lagos or in Kwara State or in Ondo State in Akure, and you want to get a job as a data scientist. How do you ensure that you have an optimized LinkedIn profile? So when a recruiter looks at your LinkedIn profile, they definitely would know that, okay, you've been doing this. You have some projects you put on your profile that showcases you as a data scientist, all right? So you must create that social proof on your LinkedIn to show that you've not just been doing this, you've been doing it and you're showing proof that you've learned and you can actually get the job done. So have an optimized LinkedIn profile. It would also work with you to ensure you optimize your LinkedIn. Number three is Upwork optimization, right? So if Femena showed you just a glimpse of the type of jobs you can get on Upwork, to apply to a job on Upwork would require that you create a profile. Okay, you create a profile, you showcase the projects you worked on and things like that. The manner in which you optimize your profile and showcase that profile to potential recruiters or potential employers who give you those contracts are absolutely important. And the typical Upwork optimization that we always take in-house at Tenalytics, this is the results. This is the way it happens. You go through the Upwork optimization, you've never been getting jobs on Upwork. The moment you go through the optimization, Upwork optimization, the following week you start getting emails for job opportunities. Oh, there's a contract, there's a particular project, can you join the project, and so on and so forth. Number four is navigating the job market. What we've done today within 2 hours is one session on navigating the job market, okay? So we sit down every week with the participants and then we show you based on your location, what do you want to get? I want to get a remote job, or I want to get this, I want to get that. And we walk you through how to access those jobs that are available. You want to go through the global talent route, for example, in the UK, we work with you to ensure that you understand the criteria, you know what is required, and then we help you, along the line. Because again, we always say this, a lot of people, they come into the country, they go to Canada, for example, they come to the UK and they do all the things they see other people doing. Everybody is doing care, they rush to care. Everybody is doing, warehouse, they rush to warehouse. Everybody is doing Uber, Deliveroo, or whatever the case might be. Everybody rushes to what they see other people doing. But then if you have the right information on the type of jobs you can access in those locations where you can see a clear career progression, you'd stand out from everybody else. Okay, so when you see other people getting jobs, getting the fantastic jobs, you wonder and you console yourself by saying that, oh, they probably are experts in that area and so on and so forth, but that's not the case. They just have the right information that you don't have. And that's what navigating the job market is all about. So gov.uk, ukhire.com, well-found, LinkedIn, how to search for jobs and all those things. Those are the things you'll be learning during the Navigating the Job Market session. It's a weekly event. Number 5 is reference and recommendations. I have a ton of reference letters in my email from participants that have applied to jobs in Canada, some that are applying for their masters in the US, in Canada, and their university needs, a referee to stand for them and attest to their character. Okay, so this is also one of the services we offer to say that, okay, we've worked with you, we know you, you are of good character, and so on and so forth, so that employer, potential employer, or that university would receive you and incorporate you into the system. And of course, when you get your foot into the door, you need to know what to say when you get into the interview. If you're going to work on a case study, how would the case study look like? How do you prepare? So you'd sit with Femena, you'd sit with myself, and would walk you through the whole process, simulate the interview process for you, ask you questions. And from that alone, you know exactly where your lapses are and where you need to go and prepare. For questions as simple as, tell me about yourself. You would see people that have been in the professional, they've worked in the banks, they've worked in the biggest organization, they struggle to introduce themselves. As simple as that question is, and it's a question that you definitely get in an interview. So we show you the approach you need to take to introducing yourself, which is called the SEAT approach. All right, how do you structure your stories when you get into an interview? Or tell me about a time where you used Power BI to solve a problem. How do you structure that story? You use something called the STAR approach. Okay, so things like this are the things you learn to help you prepare for the interview. Okay, and last but not the least is the weekly mentorship sessions. All right, so my face, Ifemena's face, every week you're going to see us right in front of you. All right, because you have a lot of people who would have joined this program. They want to learn, they want to get jobs, but getting a job is a job on its own, right? You need to apply to the job to get the jobs. Nobody would apply to jobs for you. You need to go on LinkedIn, you need to apply to those jobs, which show you all the process that you need to take to apply to the jobs, where to apply to these jobs, and then you have to go ahead to apply, right? Now, some of you would get rejections, which is normal. But you need somebody who is experienced in the game, in the space, like myself, like Ifemena, and so many other professionals that you'll be working with, that will be training you, to tell you that, look, the best of the best still gets, I'm sorry, we cannot go ahead with you, or unfortunately. So that's a part of the process. All right. And the earlier you start to get used to that process, the best for you. So you need a mentor to hold your hands, literally, to answer your questions. And every week, Wednesday evenings, from around 9 p.m., sometimes 10, depending on where, different participants would be joining in from. We have these sessions, 1 hour session, 1 hour, 30 minutes sometimes, or even 2 hours, where we answer all the questions you might have regarding to your transitioning into tech. So you have different, areas, you have different touch points where we help you hold your hands and ensure that you're able to make that transition seamlessly. Now, this is the difference between somebody who learns anywhere. You go buy a course on Coursera, go buy a course on Udemy. Everybody does that, all right? But the question is, how do you bridge the gap between what you have learned and getting a job? It's a major difference. And I'll tell you for a fact, the competition is rife out there, and the ability to separate yourself from the competition is what you absolutely need to get ahead. And this is what makes us different, the other 50%. And this is why Tenalytics, for those of you that joined us today, this is the reason why we have been successful at what we do, and we are what we are today, all right? Because that's our focus. A lot of people shy away from it because it's a difficult and it's a rigorous process to embark on. But for us, it's to bridge that gap between what you've learned and how to get a job, to make use and extract value from the skills that you've gotten. Now, all of these 7 different additional, aspects or additional skills to the technical skill is what makes you completely ready to jump into the market, to start to look for a job. And you'd work with absolute professionals. You'd work with Ifemena, you'd work with myself, you'd work with Nene, who is a commercial analytics professional, working with one of the largest companies here in the UK. She's worked with the Bank of America. She's worked with KPMG, one of the big fours. Absolutely astute professionals will be holding your hands to help you, navigate the job market, helping you transition and make the switch. You have Teniola, who's going to work with you as well in financial analytics. You have Obina, who is in Canada, who works with people in Canada that registers with us to help them navigate the space and also learn the technical skill. You have Sheil, who's a business analyst. You have Emmanuel in HR analytics, and so on and so forth. So you're working with the best of the best. These are not people who have done it in the past. They are people who are still doing it and will be sharing not just the technical skill, but also their experience and what you should expect when you get into the markets. Okay. Now, a lot of you have been asking questions around when is the next cohort going to start? When do I need to get started? How do I start? We had a cohort that started yesterday, Saturday, the 27th of May. So the May cohort started already, and they're already learning fantastic stuff. Okay. Now, the next cohort we have starts on the 1st of July, 2023. So for those of you that would like to start your journey, you'd like to start your career within the tech space, you want to make that transition, the next class starts on the 1st of July. Okay, and what does it take for you to be a part of the program? All right, I've been seeing a lot of charts to say, oh, how much do I need to pay? But you need to know what you're paying for. You need to know if you'll be going for data analytics or data science. You need to know if you go for financial analytics or HR analytics. So that's why we take our time to explain the different programs to you. All right, and for you to join our program, you need to make an investment of £400 to get started. But you're paying in Naira, 320,000 Naira. All right, £400 if you're paying in pounds, and 320,000 if you're paying in Naira. But again, like I said, the next cohort starts on the 1st of July, right? So we still have a couple of weeks for the next program to start. So we have a unique offer available for those who would like to register early. It's called the early bird discount, all right? So if you want to join early, you want to join any of the programs you've seen, and we'll also take questions for a bit before we wrap up today. You want to join any of the programs for the data analytics, the business analysis, the HR analytics, and the financial analytics. To get started in any of these programs, you'd have a discount and make a payment of only £300 instead of 400. And this is only for the first 20 people. Okay, £300 instead of £400. So you have £100 discount right off the bat, early bird discount, and you can make the payment in 2 installments. £200 to register to get started, and £100 1 month after the program starts. All right, and if you're paying in Naira, you get to pay 270,000 Naira instead of 320. So instead of 320, you enjoy the early bird discount and pay 270. Again, make the payment in 2 installments to get into the program. 180 to start, and then 90,000 1 month before the program, 1 month after the program has started, I beg your pardon. And this is only, it's not available for everybody, just for the first 20 people to register, all right? And I'll tell you the way the program goes. We have a session like this today. By Monday, Tuesday, all the slots are taken across all the programs. All the slots are taken, all the discount slots. I even had somebody calling me today. The program started yesterday, calling me today to say, can I still join? Yes, I know they had a class yesterday. I don't mind going back to watch the recording, but I want to start. But I had to tell the person, look, you know, you don't have the discount available. And she said, yes, I'm going to make the full payments, not even 2 installments, the full payments to get started. So we always tell people, for those who want to start, enjoy the discount. First 20 people get to pay this discounted amount of either £300 if you're paying in pounds, or 270 if you are paying in Naira. And for the full stack and the Power Platform is also the same. You want to join the full stack data science program or the Power Platform developer program, is also the same amount of £300 to start, discounted fee, 200 to get into the class, to get registered and get your welcome kits, and £100 1 month after the program has started. Okay. And if you're paying in Naira, it's 270 discounted, 180 to register and be a part of the program, and then 90,000 1 month after the program has started. The only difference in fee is with the data engineering. Okay, so when Ifemena asks, oh, who wants data engineering? Everybody said, me, I want data engineering. Okay, so data engineering, you want to become a data engineer. Of course, the fee is £400. That's the discounted fee. And you pay £300 to get started, and £100 1 month after the program, starts. And if you're paying in Naira, it's 350,000 Naira, 250 to get into the class, get your welcome kits, get all the materials, all the applications you need to get started, and then 100,000 1 month after the program starts. And of course, the data engineering, like Femena mentioned, when it comes to salary, the earnings and so on, it's way up there and so on and so forth. All right. So for those of you who want to start, if you are making payments in pounds, you can make payments to our pound accounts, and then you get into the class. So if you are paying in Naira, you get to pay into our Fidelity bank accounts. All right. If you cannot do a transfer, because a couple of people would say, oh, I'm in Netherlands, I'm in France, I'm in Luxembourg, you cannot do a direct transfer to the pound account. How can I still be a part of it? You can also make payments using our PayPal link. All right, click on any of these links, and then it takes you to how you can make payments to join the program. If I click on this link, this is for the full payments, for example. If I click on the second link, it's for the parts payments. So if I click on that, it takes you to where you can make your payments. So you'd see the Tenalytics Career Path Program parts payment, £200, of course, to get started. And all you need to do is click on Buy Now, okay? Click on PayPal, all right? And then you can make your payments using your debit or credit card. Pay by debit or credit card. And if I click on that, I can go ahead and make my payments using my debit or credit card, all right? So again, that's what it takes to be a part of the program. And once you've done all of that, a link which will be shared by my colleagues, you'd also get the slides. So all these details, you would have them in your email as well, including the brochures for all the programs and so on and so forth. And all you need to do is to click on this link and send us your proof of payment. As soon as you confirm your payment, we've received your payment, we send you a welcome kit. The welcome kit contains all the things you need for the class. So if you register for data analytics, for example, you need Excel, you need Power BI, you need Tableau, you need SQL. All those applications, you have them in the welcome kits. You click on the link, click on the video to see how to install. You go ahead and install, and you are ready, fully ready for the class. You also have your learning plan available to you. And for those that ask the question around what time will the classes begin on Saturday? So on Saturdays, you have your class from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. live class, which is project-based, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Saturday. On Sundays, for the programs where we have classes on Sundays, is from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. All right? But for some of the classes like the data analytics, HR analytics, financial analytics, data science, you don't have classes on Sundays, live classes. So you have the Watch Me Do It videos. And these Watch Me Do It videos are self-paced videos to help you learn some fundamental concepts by working on more projects. Okay, so you have your live class on Saturday. So let's take, for example, you register for a data science program. You have your live class on Saturday, and on Sunday, you have your Watch Me Do It videos. Okay, so we're going to show you what the platform looks like, so you have an idea of what it takes to be a part of any of our programs. We're also going to take questions. I'm sure you have questions that we'd love to answer and get to hear from you as well. There are so many people that have gone through our programs, immense, and they've achieved fantastic feats. And we always like to showcase them whenever we have the opportunity. All right. So what I want everybody to do at the end of this call is follow us on YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel, look at our testimonials, go to Instagram, follow us on Instagram, see the amazing work we're doing on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Twitter. Follow us and see the amazing stuff we've been doing. But I'll just touch on a couple of people that have gone through our program and how they've been able to extract value. All right. This is Wislene. And Wislene, I always love telling her story simply because she joined our program sometime last year, around mid last year, if I'm correct, or towards Q3 last year, 2022. She wrapped up our program sometime around November, December. And 2 months ago, she landed a job in the UK. All right. And when she had the opportunity to interview, she informed us, and I worked with her sent her materials. You can see these are WhatsApp conversation. Sent her materials to prepare. We had a phone call. We had a session where we looked through the job role, and she was able to prepare based on the advice that we provided to her. Today, she works as a sales analyst with Shell, not Shell in Nigeria, not the Shell you know in Rivers State, Shell in the UK. All right. And this is somebody who has never done anything analytics. She has never worked as a data analyst. She didn't even know what Power BI was when she joined the program. Today, Wislin works as a sales analyst with Shell in the UK. We have Olugbemi. Olugbemi works in Canada as a business data analyst for the Lord Depot. And similar story, Olugbemi joined, wanted to leave Nigeria, just like most Nigerians today. You have the Japa syndrome, the Japa craze, everybody wants to leave. He left one of the top tier banks in Nigeria, and he told me, look, Adeza, I want to leave Nigeria and I want to get a job. I don't want to do all the menial jobs when I get to Canada. What do you think I can do? We worked with Olugbemi, and by the time he was done with the program and he started to apply to jobs, he had opportunities to interview. And guess what? Olugbemi got the opportunity to interview. He informed me. We had a 2-hour session where we looked at the role. We dissected every single thing involved in the job description. He went for the interview the following day, which was an assessment center, and he did very well. And he told me categorically that almost all the things we discussed came out during the interview. And it was no, surprise when Olugbemi got the job. A few hours after the interview, he was sent an email to provide a reference, provide 3 references, and Tenalytics stood as a referee for Olugbemi. Today, he works as a business data analyst and is one of our major ambassadors when it comes to what we've been able to do in Canada with so many other people. Olugbemi helps us to even help other people make that transition in Canada. All right, you have Emeka, you have Uthman. Uthman works with the NHS. Uthman was fresh out of the university, no experience, never knew what Excel was, never knew what Power BI was. We worked with him, he got a job as well. We have Idris Adebisi, who joined our full stack data science program. And today, Idris works with Jaguar Land Rover. A lot of you want to drive Land Rover. You want to buy Land Rover Evoque. You want to buy Vela and all of that. Idris worked with the Land Rover, Jaguar Land Rover in the UK after joining our program. And of course, today he's doing amazingly well. And these are people who have gone through the program, been able to extract value. You have Ebube getting a job as a data scientist, also with the NHS. The NHS, I would say for a fact, is the organization that recruits the highest number of our participants, right? And we're always proud of that. So we have organizations, the NHS is the biggest organization in the UK in terms of number of employees and so on and so forth. They recruit the highest number of our participants that have gone through our training program. We have Victor. Victor joined HR Analytics. He works remotely from Nigeria. He works as a people operations analyst from Nigeria, works with a company in the US, in Chicago, Illinois. He earns in dollars, spends in Naira. Okay, so the same, process of what if Emena has shown you today, how to go on LinkedIn, well found, go on Upwork and search for jobs. Victor was able to do that, and he landed a job with Hugo in the US, working out of Nigeria. You have Rafiat, who works as a business analyst for the post office in the UK. He joined our business analysis program. You have Ubong, you have Abdul Rashid, so many, there's so many, and I can keep on going on and on. But when you get the slide, please take out time to look at all these testimonials, see the amazing stuff we've been doing. Abdul Rashid resides in Kwara State in Nigeria, lives in Kwara, and he works for Chow 420 in the US. And he's a phenomenal guy. He joined our full stack data science program. He worked with Femena. Femena worked with him directly. And Abdul Rashid has been doing phenomenal stuff when it comes to even coming back to Tenalytics to help other participants who want to get remote jobs out of Nigeria to also do the same thing. So it's easier for you to, relate with somebody who has done what you're trying to do. So Abdul Rashid lives in Kwara State, very unassuming, but fantastic guy. He works for a company in the US. He earns in dollars. He spends in Naira. So these are just a couple of, people who have gone through our program. And of course, you have different organizations we've worked with in the past. Our participants, they come from so many organizations across the globe. Revolut in the UK, Amazon in the US and in the UK. You have the NHS, you have Fraser's Group, you have Western Union, and even in Nigeria, you have KPMG, you have Procter & Gamble, and the biggest and the best organizations across the globe. Okay, we'll be very happy to take your questions because I can see about 36 messages in the chat and I'm wondering what is in there. But I think I need to open it up to find out. I'm sure you have questions and I think we'll end our session with answering questions from you before we call it a day today. All right, so you want to get started, you don't need to waste any time. You jump on the train, get started. We'll work with you to help you get into any of the career path that you would love to get to. So one more time, of course, if you want to join the data analytics, you have a discounted fee of £300 or 270,000. Same with the full stack data science and the Power Platform. All right. If you want to join the data engineering program, you pay a discounted fee of £400, £300 to get started, and then £100 1 month after the program starts. Okay. So we're going to take questions. While they're taking questions, I'm sure you'd want to see what the platform looks like. All right. You'd love to see what the platform looks like. So if you have questions you want to ask, please use the raised hand icon and then we'll respond to your question. Elizabeth is saying, even if I save my entire salary for a year, it's not to. So sorry about that, Elizabeth. So sorry about that. You might need to find other ways to, maximize. And I was, yeah, if you go ahead.
I would like to say something. So that means that absolutely means that you actually need to reposition yourself. So you currently you're looking at your current salary and you cannot afford this training program. It's not bad. But that's a landmark for you to realize that you need to change your job. All right. That's literally the turning point for you to set out. If you can't afford this training program, okay, that is where you now need to start thinking to see how you can change your job to get that career path that gets you to be able to afford certain things. All right. And that's why we're doing this masterclass to move you away from those kind of jobs. All right.
Absolutely. So Siska is also saying, I'm very interested in taking one of the programs, but I would love a one-on-one session with you. So I know what I'll advise you, Siska, to do so that you still take advantage of the discounts. People fall into this trap as well. Make a payment for one of the programs. It doesn't matter which one you pay for. And then we have the one-on-one session with you, and then you select what you want. At the end of the day, you are the director of your own career path, what you want to learn. We're going to make the options available to you. And just like we have explained all the different programs, it took our time to explain, you eventually would have to decide what you want to do. If you want to code, for example, you don't mind mathematics, that would also narrow down, the programs you can take. If you want to dive into, maybe you are currently in accounting or finance, you want to, double down on that and become an expert, we can start to look at areas around financial analytics and so on. So we can have the one-on-one session. That's absolutely fine. But so that the discount does not elude you at the end of the day, I would advise you to take advantage of the discount, right? Okay, so let's take questions. I think the first question I have is from Chinedu. So Chinedu, I've asked you to unmute yourself, so you can go ahead and unmute yourself and ask a question, please.
Yeah, hi. Good evening. I don't know if you can hear me clearly.
Loud and clear, go ahead.
Okay. Sorry, I've actually missed this last, I think 2 or 3 occasions, and I said I was going to join today because I was free.
Okay.
So basically, for someone like me, I would say you don't need to sell yourself because I'm like returning, because I'll use that word. I'm like a returning student. Let me use that word. I attended your classes last year, but somewhere along the line I had to stop because of a couple of things and the fact that I had to relocate with my family to the UK. So yes, I attended your classes, and I'm saying this for everybody to hear. So I attended your classes, and I loved the engagement. It was something. It was something to learn. It was a very good platform for you to learn to become. Well, I did the full stack data scientist program. So it was a program that where you could learn, and then even if you're starting from scratch, like you knew nothing before, you could actually put yourself in the position where you knew you could excel in the tech industry.
Absolutely.
Like I said, I'm back here because I just want to probably do one or two other things. Yes, it's good to be back, like I would say. So, like I said, when we're having this meeting, I was like, I wish you could stop selling yourself. I already knew, but yeah, I could see that I wasn't the only person in the meeting, so I said no. Let me allow you guys to continue.
Yeah.
So it's a good one. So, well, my question is going to be, well, it's something that maybe probably will have to do after the session because I'm like, okay, yeah, I've seen the current cost of the courses, and I'm like, okay, so what are for people like returning students? So we will, I guess it's something we don't have to discuss in here.
All right, it's fine. Chinedu, you can reach out to us on any of the numbers you can see on the screen, and we're going to hear from you. And of course, we deeply appreciate the kind words. You joined last year, couldn't complete because of one or two reasons. You had to move your family to the UK, like you said. Although the program is already heavily discounted, okay, in terms of the training fee, but just reach out to us and we'll see how we can work with you. All right, at least for a returning participants. Good to hear from you, Chinedu. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. I'll take more questions from those with their hand raised, and then I'll move into the chat. So Olufumi, I've asked you to unmute yourself, Olufumi. So go ahead, please.
Sorry, please, can you mute me? I'm trying to mute. I can't find how to do it.
Oh, okay, no problem. I'll do that. Olufumi, if you can hear me, please go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, Olufumi, I think you muted yourself. I've asked you to unmute yourself again.
Yeah. Hello.
Hi, Olufumi, go ahead, please.
Yeah, good evening. Good evening, everyone. So my question is, I'm actually caught in between. I'm actually an HR professional. I've been in HR for over 10 years. So I'm trying to see, do I settle for HR analysis or business analysis? Is it analysis or analytics? Which one? HR analytics or business analysis, if I'm right. So I just need an advice on what exactly I need to do.
All right. Is there a reason why you have business analysis as one of the areas of your considerations? Any reason why?
I'm looking at a switch into tech and something that can be applicable to any industry, actually. Okay. That I can not like restricting myself to a particular career line. So that's what I'm thinking about. But I think you guys know better when it comes to both courses and you can advise better.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So while we can have a one-on-one with you, I'll just give you, the general response, which is simply looking at all the programs we've talked about today, the 7 programs from data analytics all the way down to Power Platform. We looked at 3 major criteria, to select those 7 courses. Number 1 is ease of learning. Number 2, ease of transitioning and getting a job. And number 3 is high and rewarding salary. Okay, so when people ask, which of these courses can I learn and get a job? Any of the 7. Okay, so like the session we've had today, just take out time yourself, okay, and start to search for those roles. Go on LinkedIn, like Femena showed you, type in HR analytics, type in business analysis, and do a research yourself. But if you ask me, I'll tell you for a fact that these jobs are in high demand, almost in equal proportions, okay, irrespective of where you are, in Nigeria, in the UK, in the US, irrespective, okay? But then again, you need to ask yourself the question, as a HR professional for the last 10 years, do you want to take take it further? Do you want to move within that line? We have somebody who has worked within the HR space for, I think, about 20 years. She's in the UK, all right? And she wants to double down on that. So she took the HR analytics program, and today she's, trying to transition into a strategic role in an organization where she can leverage her previous years in HR, in addition to the new skills she's learned in, the new data analytics skills she's learned in addition to the HR skills she already had. All right, so you might want to look at that consideration. But if you want to look at a total switch at the same time, that's also very possible. Okay, but if the focus or the major determinant is for you is, will I get a job, or how easy or how soon can I get a job if I learn HR analytics or business analysis? I'll tell you, it's equal. It's exactly equal, 50-50. Okay, so it's not a case of, as a business analyst, you get more job opportunities compared to as a HR analytics professional. So if you want to switch from HR totally, then I would say yes, go for business analysis. But if you want to double down on your HR analytics, your HR profession over 10 years, leverage on that, of which can play to your own advantage. Because all you just simply do is you piggyback to review all the things you've done as a HR professional in the past to include the analytic bits of things. So you wouldn't say that you are new to HR analytics. You just simply say, I've been working as a HR analytics professional for the last 10 years, because you'd add that analytics flavor to all the things you've done in HR in the past. Okay, so we can have that one-on-one session, but I just want you to think along these lines when you eventually want to make, a decision at the end of the day. If that makes sense.
Thank you. Yeah, it does. It does. I'll definitely give a call maybe during the week, but definitely this makes a lot of sense. I'll ponder over this. Thank you so much for your time. Yeah.
You're welcome, Olufumi. Okay. So I'll take Angela. Angela, I've asked you to unmute yourself. Please go ahead, Angela.
Okay. Thanks for. I joined in rather late. My own case is kind of, I don't know. Okay, fine. I've listened to you. I would really like to go into data, but the thing is, I have this fear for math. You said there's no need for one to, I don't know. I would like to go into data science, but I want to ask, because I kind of joined late. For someone who has this fear for math, would you still encourage one to go into it? I'm told, why I'm asking this question, because I'm told that it depends on the instructor. That one is one. And then secondly, I would like to ask, in terms of the fees, with this Nigerian economy and things like that, do we have, I don't know, should we have some kind of, what's the word now? Consideration, because obviously Nigerian economy is very from those in UK, Netherlands, all those people, the earning purchasing power. Because somebody once said that she would love to do this course, but she can't afford it. I don't know. It should be, maybe it should. I don't know. Money shall kind of be reduced a little.
All right. Let me just quickly talk about that regarding the fee. We started the program 2023. We've had programs every single month from January till May. And I'll tell you for a fact, we've had to tell people we don't want them to register anymore. All right. We had a cohort that started yesterday, the 27th of May. And even today, after class 1 had ended yesterday on Saturday, people were still calling to register today. All right. So again, it's not, if you look at the value you tend to get from all the programs we offer, because it's not just about the technical skill. And we always say, and we're very proud to talk about that, go anywhere else. The additional value you get to help you get a job, you'll not find it anywhere else. Okay, and that's the value we bring to bear. So comparing vis-a-vis the value you get, it's actually cheap at that amount. And that's just a simple fact. Okay,
Angela, I would like to ask Angela just a very quick question. Yeah. So Angela, looking at what we have put together, from what you get from the training program, what would you say is is the price that you'll be looking at in terms of affordability, what would you be looking at?
First of all, the presentation is excellent. You know, the value you people have given. Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah, I can hear you well.
Yes, yeah. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I'm actually looking forward to enrolling with you. I'm looking forward to it. You know, I think I will enjoy. I will actually enjoy the training. I'm looking forward to it. But the thing is, you know, let's just face the fact, you guys are, guess you're in UK, this is Nigeria, and the way things are now, you know, well, you people are giving value. I
That's
know.
exactly.
I'm not
that's
giving the value.
I
I know I'm
you.
going to get value, but you know,
Absolutely.
But
what's so if you're looking at the price point, what price point are you looking at? That's what I just want to understand. That's what I want to know.
Okay, how much I do
So
you know,
that's
okay,
that
I know.
Angela.
Let me just compare. You know, it was like 150, you know, 200, you know, yeah, 150, 200.
So fine and good. Yeah, that's
150,
absolutely
200
fine.
grand. Yeah.
That's absolutely okay. All right. So what we've done, okay, our goal is not the fees. Trust me, it's
Yeah.
absolutely not the fees. When we started this training program, like Adeza rightly said, we started this training program and it was heavily discounted. The key thing for us back there was to get more Africans, more Black Nigerians, and most people, Black people, basically into the tech ecosystem. Well, anything that is, considered, people have a perception. All right. So we wanted to do this in order for us to get the right set of people into the tech ecosystem. All right. There are a lot of free resources everywhere. Honestly speaking, you can go on YouTube, you get free resources and all that, and you don't need to pay a dime. All right. But trust me, before you, that particular kind of person, will get a job, it's going to take a while because you don't have people, you don't have mentors. Mentors will cost you a lot of money. Okay. For somebody to hold your hands, literally day, morning, night, every day. All right. Once you pay for the training program, literally that is you adding your career to us and we dragging you and ensuring that you get what you're looking for. So I will tell you categorically, all right, and I want you, you can post me anywhere. We are actually still absolutely affordable when you look at any other platform that you want to learn some skills. We are absolutely affordable. This is you getting lifetime access to materials. This is you getting mentors. This is you getting access to remote sites. This is you getting so many mentorship, navigating the job market, CV review, LinkedIn optimization, you getting all this package alongside you still learning the skill, you getting free internship, working on projects. So categorically, and I needed to say that so you would get to see the value that we are bringing forward. All right. If we have enough time, we'll probably have showed you how you see the classes, the internship, and all these things that we're talking about. So we actually invest in ourselves in order for you to get what you're looking for. So in terms of affordability, trust me, we are at that base level to get the right set of people into their desired career paths. All right. Now, looking at the mathematical skills that you talked about for data science, okay, if you can go to the market or if you can undo the calculations of a conductor, you're fine. You know what I mean by conductor mathematics? Where they tie you with 3 people, you die with 3 people, or all of you take 200 naira, you'll not be wondering, okay, where is my change? Do you understand? So if you can do that kind of mathematics, you can go to the market, you can price, you can take price, you understand numbers, okay? It's not like you are a stake or something, all right? So you can understand numbers, essentially, you are going to be fine. Okay. And this is one very large misconception people talk about. I listen to people that are transition and they talk about mathematics and they paint it so hard. They make it so difficult for people to transition because there's, you must learn statistics. Statistics is very important. You must. When I look at this people, I'm like, why are you persuading people from starting a career in data science? How many mathematics do you do at your workplace? It's Python. If you're using any form of calculator, you're using Excel to perform my analysis. So nobody expects you to carry 4-figure table in your head. to be cramming numbers or carry, advanced calculator. It's you have the tool. It's the tool you're going to use to do the analysis. All right. So that's the key thing. It's not you storing numbers in your head. Okay, it's you asking the right question. The key thing is problem solving. You being able to ask the right questions and you being able to interpret the visualization, your analysis, and so on and so forth. So don't worry, if we have a ton of people, and you have a ton of people that have gone through it, and you'll still probably get to hear from them, as we go on. People that never knew anything about Python or programming or statistics or anything, they would start to show you what they're doing. All right, if we have enough time, I'll probably show you those testimonials and so on and so forth. But essentially, you don't need to be a maths guru to get that job that you're looking for, to be in data science, okay? You don't need to do it. That's why we designed this training program for beginners, absolute beginners. You've not seen data science before in your life. We get you up and running in data science, okay? So that's what we do. Trust me, okay? Angela.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem.
All right. So I think because of time, we'll take maybe just about 2 to 3 more questions and then we start to wrap up. Okay. So I'm going to take questions from Babatunde. Babatunde, I've asked you to unmute yourself, so please go ahead with your question. Babatunde.
Yeah, hello.
Yes, Babatunde, you might need to speak up a bit because I don't think I can hear you clearly.
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Your voice is very faint, Babatunde.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead. I think it's a bit better now.
Yeah, thank you very much. I really enjoyed the training. I guess you guys can still hear me, right?
All right. Babatunde, I think I just had to mute you so I can take another person's question. So I'd advise you can send your question to the chat because we couldn't really hear you clearly to take your question. So I'll move on to Cletus. Cletus, please go ahead with your question, Cletus.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, Cletus.
Yes, go ahead, Cletus. Okay, I'll just go straight to the point. I am actually interested in this training, but my concern is I don't know which one between full stack data science and data engineering. My background is mechanical engineering, but again, another concern I have is that I am currently working in the oil industry. Even I'm talking to you right now from offshore. I wouldn't have that that time. I don't know, because my program or my work shift is not specified. So I can be called upon anytime, any day. So that's why I have not actually joined all this while, but I think I just want to really summon the courage and try to just anyhow, I hope I'll find time then to join the class. So I am still contemplating between data science and data engineering. Maybe I'll need a better explanation from you to know which one to choose and which one to study. Then on the final one is when we make payment, how do we show proof of payment? Maybe in a link to send a proof of payment. So these are just the questions I want to quickly put together. And no, we don't have to.
All right, can you see my screen?
Can you see my screen? Yes, I can see your screen.
All right, so if you make payments, any of the WhatsApp numbers you have here, if you send us a message, send your proof of payment to any of the WhatsApp numbers. We'll confirm your payments, send you a link to register, and then you get to join. You get a welcome kit from us. The welcome kit contains all the materials and all the things you need to get started, okay? So any of our numbers, you have our numbers in here. send us a WhatsApp message, and then you would get access to the class. We'll send you a welcome kit, which will contain all the details. All right. Now, data science, data engineering, my advice would be for you to, when you get the link, which would indicate, where would require that you indicate if you want a one-on-one session, please fill that link for a one-on-one session, which would organize sometime this week to help answer those specific questions, to help you, determine the specific area to follow, the data engineering or the data science, depending on the one that best suits your current job function. So that's what I think you need to do. Register to indicate that you want the one-on-one session. I will work with you on that. I just quickly want to show before I take my next question, to show the Google Classroom, right? So again, when you make payments, you get a welcome kit. The welcome kit contains a link for you to join a classroom, all right? That classroom is where you have all the materials you need for the program, every single thing, your class. After every live class, the live classes are recorded. The recordings are made available in the Google Classroom. You have lifetime access to these Google Classrooms. So let's just take, for example, this is the business analysis program that started in April, all right? You can see business analysis, April cohorts, number of people that registered. We have 79 people for only business analysis alone, all right? 79 people that registered for the program, okay? Only 20 people got the discount to this particular class. All the other 59 had to make the full payment. And that's why we say take advantage of the discount when it's still available to you. But that's not what, let's look at the classroom to see how they learn. So when you join the program, you join a Google Classroom, you have the onboarding bits of the program, which is how to navigate the Slack channel, because they're going to join Slack, where you collaborate with your contemporaries in class, collaborate with your facilitators, your trainers. So you have those onboarding materials, your installations, how to install Power BI for Mac, Power BI for Windows, and all of that. But the very first Excel class, okay, as a business analyst, we talked about what? Project-based learning. Project-based learning, and that's the best way to learn. Okay, so let's look at the first things they did. Of course, you have the class login detail. You click on the link to join the class. And the very first class in business analysis, for example, you work on 2 case studies, all right? The Crixus Travel Company and malaria death. Okay, so the Crixus Travel Company, for example, is a case study where you would help a travel company to answer questions around how to help them design packages, travel packages for their customers. So this is a real life practical exercise where you are helping a company to do what? Come up with recommendations on how to help the current services that they provide to their customers. How do they meet their customers' needs, and so on and so forth. This is one of the case studies you would work on, as a business analyst. We also have a case study on malaria. Okay, so one of the social impact projects to be working on, malaria death case studies around different countries, and you would apply Excel skills to solving this problem. For some of you that join our participants experience sharing, you'd see our participants come around and tell you that I built an Excel dashboard in 2 weeks. And people will be surprised and asking the question, are you serious? You did this in 2 weeks. And of course, why is that possible? You work on projects, okay? So these are some of the projects. So after Excel, you have Excel class 2, you move into Power BI, you move into SQL. Let's look at the SQL project, for example. The SQL project, SQL project class 2, let's see what they worked on. All right, so you work on data science salaries, where you analyze salaries of different data roles across different countries and make a recommendation. So again, practical-based application, and so many other classes, right? There was a class I just quickly want to show you, HR analytics, if I can quickly find it. So across all the different programs, you start to see the type of things you learn when you join a class. What are the things I'll learn when I join a class? How will I learn? All the materials are here. So let's take, for example, on a Saturday or Sunday, you had a busy class. You had a busy weekend rather, and you couldn't join the class. The class recordings are there for you. This was a Power BI class for the HR analytics guys. They had Power BI yesterday, and look at, this is a recording of the class. All you need to do is come back here if you missed the class, click on the link, access the class recording, watch it at your own convenience, and you're good to go. All right. So again, like we mentioned, you work on what? Projects. It's project-based, how to build a portfolio. You have the links on how to build your Excel portfolio, how to build and publish your Power BI reports and your Power BI portfolio as well. So these are the ways you will learn when you join the Tenalytics program. Okay. So I'm going to quickly take, I think, one more question and then we'll wrap up. One more question and then we call it a day. I'll take one more question and then we call it a day because time has been fast spent. And I'll take questions from Bright and then I'll take questions from the chat as well. But Bright, go ahead with your question, please.
Okay, thank you very much, Adeze. My question is close to the question someone asked. I think for that you have given us the answer. I can send my details and then you can maybe guide me on which option to take, because I'm a banker, I'm a business manager, what you people call the bank manager. I've been doing that for over 10 years and I have like 18 years or more experience in banking. So I want to know the one that is better suited for me. And then secondly, you know, most of the practical session we had today is tailored towards working in the UK. While you were delivering your speech, you said something about people living or wanting to transit to the UK, the US and Canada, that you're going to have another meeting or training for them very soon. I think I want to belong to that class. However, I want to make my payments now, but I'll do that today or first thing in the morning while I send my details to you people on your WhatsApp group, and then you can guide me. I'm ready for the training that is coming up on the 1st.
All right, fantastic, Bright. So again, as long as you fill the attendance, there's an attendance link that was sent to you. As long as you fill the attendance link, you would receive the recording of today's session, you receive the slides, and also when we organize the clarity session, the one-on, you'd also get to be a part of it, and then we can look at your role vis-a-vis the program you'd like to join and so on and so forth. So we always have all these programs from time. So in a month, we could have a schedule of maybe 10 different programs we take. Okay, and that's why we always say, just keep on following us, follow us across all our platforms. And we come up with all these programs across how to get a job in the UK, get a job in the US, in Canada, in Europe, in Africa. As a participant of Tenalytics, this is something you'll be doing every week, irrespective. Okay, but as an organization and what we feel, we need to create the awareness to other people who are not a part of us to know that, look, yes, you might not want to join any of our programs now or today or even tomorrow, but to create that awareness that as Black people, the people of the Black community, as Africans, there are other ways available to, get into tech. There are other ways available apart from the menial jobs everybody know out there and everybody would tend to do because every other person is doing that. So again, as a participant, you get to do all these sessions, UK, US, Canada, Africa, Middle East, you get to do all of that on a regular basis, okay? So when, I can't say specifically when we'll have the session, it could be next week or 2 weeks, but as long as you follow us, you're in a WhatsApp group, we have your email. When these sessions are coming up, we send an email ahead of time, and then you can always join any of these sessions, okay? All right, I think we can call it a day at this point. Okay, so like I said, and we've said severally, for those who would like to get more clarity around the program to join, feel free, register for the attendance, register in the attendance link. When you get the notification to indicate if you want a one-on-one or clarity session, also indicates we'll be very, very happy to sit down with you and help you fashion out and, you know, show you the pathway we feel we should take to get the best value out of your transitioning journey. All right. If I don't even want to say one or two things before we wrap up the session.
All right. Yes, I think you've covered majority of it already. So also aim is to get more people into the tech environment. So if you're looking to transition into tech, or you are a career switcher like myself, okay? So transition from consulting to data itself. So if you're looking at if you fall into any of those category, a professional with no experience, looking to start in the tech environment, or even a career switcher, meaning that you're moving from your current role, you're looking at something, getting something better than what you're earning, like and what you're doing at the moment. And you know, this is the right platform for you. People are asking about certified trainers and all that. We have a ton of certified trainers and a ton of experienced people, right? Because training is different from experience, honestly speaking. And that's one thing that we draw out from, and that's one thing that we do best, okay? Because the words you'll be learning are things that are relevant in the industry, projects that are relevant in the industry, projects that will get you into doors. Those are the kind of projects you'll be working on. So trust us, okay, to give you the best. And that is why we have, you know, some of the best people working in different organizations today. All right, because I can beat my chest, okay? And if we had enough time, I would have shared some personal experience that I would have loved to share. Okay, let me just quickly share it in like 2 seconds. All right, I started a new role that was just a couple of months back. And during one of the sessions I was handling, okay, somebody was so excited, sent me a message. The name was just there. It was, I can't remember her name now, Sophia or something like that. Yeah. And she sent me a message and she was like, "Oh, Ifemena, how are you? You joined this organization. When did you join?" And she was so excited. But the name didn't ring a bell. Okay. And, you know, I had to ask her, like, politely, like, I'm excited to meet you too, but where are you from? Like, do I know you? All right. And she was like, "Oh, she went through Tenalytics, the business analysis training program. And she started working just 3 weeks before I started. And I was so excited. And she was like, "Oh, she currently works as a business analyst with that particular organization." And that is essentially one of the key reasons we started Analytics, to get more Africans, more Nigerians into the tech ecosystem. And I've never been so happy in my life, honestly speaking, because that's at that point in time, that's when he now told us, it dawned on us to say that we need to actually do more. Because I've worked for different organizations in the UK, in Ireland, across Europe, and in the US. You barely meet an African in tech. All right. And that's when at that point in time, okay, and that was when it dawned on us to say that, okay, you know what, let's continue pushing to see how we can get more Nigerians, more Africans into the tech space. All right. So if you're looking at that, that's our sole desire. That's what we want. And if that's your own desire also, we'll definitely, we have aligned and we're going to make that work for you. So really appreciate you guys taking out time on a Sunday. Okay. I know tomorrow is a public holiday, but regardless, you're taking out time on a Sunday to listen to us. Okay. And that shows, a level of motivation that's on our own part also. Trust us to take you through the journey of transitioning into tech. So thank you very much, and I'll be looking forward to meeting some of you during the one-on-one session. If you want that one-on-one session, also beautiful. That's also okay for you to do. All right. So during the week, either Monday or during the week, and sometimes during the week, we would have that one-on-one session. All right. Either myself or Daisy or the both of us will be there on the call, or whatever professional you have on the call will be able to handle the session and get you into what you're looking for. So again, thank you very much and really appreciate you guys. Okay. Cheers, guys.
Have a wonderful weekend.
Bye, everyone.
Wonderful week. Have a wonderful week.
Tomorrow is the public holiday. All right, guys. 7 to 9 people still on the call. Cheers, guys. Have a good night, everyone.